Duh. Okay, there you go. What is going on? Hey, today is 7/16/2026. It is 9:16 p.m. Mountain Standard and Pacific Time. We line up for a brief period of, well, several months of the year, I guess. And we just dinged as soon as I get started. What do you want? What do you want? Oh, it's me. It's my own to let me know that I'm on. Thanks, buddy. Good. It's great. All right. I didn't put that logo up there. Bastards. I mean, I don't care, but I didn't do that. We got lots of stuff to talk about today. So let's get into it in a minute here. Let me just go ahead and explain a few things. We have on this day, it's a very interesting on this day today. We have quite a lot of doom scroll things that should be of great interest to a great many of people. It's a small preview there in super fast motion. All right. And what else? We're probably going to talk about this was murder. Talking about overfeeding children. No, it's not a good idea. I know. Don't say yes every time. Here's another one. Chat control wins in Europe. You don't hate your government enough. And that's from Lewis Rossman. We recovered data because we wiped data. Their archive.org page is gone after threatening to sue me. I want to show you a little something here. Now, Penguin Zero 9 months ago disclosed something that was quite interesting. I know everybody wants to know. Somebody with a very successful channel, just one in general that, doesn't do gambling, sponsorships on the side or take sponsors really. How much has he made since he started off in 2016? And you're gonna have your mind blown. I can tell you that there's I am just a hobbyist. This guy crushed it. So we'll talk about that. I'm not even when I first started doing this, I was just doing it because I enjoyed it and still am doing it that way. But there's the Fitwit channel I'm really excited about. Let me just put it that way. I'm very, very enthusiastic. We got a lot of good ideas. I just need to find the time. There's a lot of shit going on. So No Choice is another one of his that we might be looking at tonight. Trying Hoffman Tactical's latest invention. It's a forced reset trigger, but it's a little bit different, and it's very interesting. When comedians choose violence. Yeah, that's definitely an AI picture. There's a cat. There's Coach Greg looking like I don't know what. Let's get into it. Oh, it didn't click when I clicked it.
Do you hear me? Do you care? Do you hear me? Do you care? My lips are moving and the sound's coming out. The words are audible, but I have my doubts that you realize what is being said. You look at me as if you're in
All right. These things should be more organized. That's the power right there. Remember this guy?
79!
That's about as 79 more the sperm that he apparently has. He wanted to broadcast that to the world that he's completely there's no swimmer swimming apparently from all of his I guess it's a good cautionary tale. All these youngsters who think that pumping steroids, pinning themselves 14, 15, 16 and on, hijacking and overriding their own puberty. It's such a great idea because we can just polypharma our way back to being fertile again. Okay, yeah. Okay, then. Maybe it's all for the best. Maybe nature's working itself out because there won't be more of them. I'm not saying that about Togi, but more about clavicular. Semperfry, LLC.com. And that is the code. 15% off. Gotta let you know about it. It's Paratus, Paratus, means prepared. Semper Paratus, always ready or always prepared. That was the Coast Guard motto. If I liked the Coast Guard, I would have gotten a tat of it, but I don't like tattoos or the Coast Guard, so I didn't do either. There is something I need to show you, though. It's my finger. See? Pretty cool. All right, now let's go over to... Oh, that one I got to show you, too. Hold on. Let's go to Semper Fry, LLC. You know what? Why am I doing like that when I can just go like this? Oh, there's people. Holy shit. People are here. Hold on a second. All right. You need to go here and become a follower or a subscriber. It's, free on YouTube. You subscribe to something and then you get your thingies. So this is I put a new one up today, but it's, if you've already seen the Dr. Glidden episode, it's that with a front end intro and a bumper, and I kind of just trimmed up the front a little bit so it wasn't as rocky when you're doing it. When you're doing live, there's going to be pauses, there's going to be times to think, there's going to be me because my brain damage and whatever else, standing under lights and God knows whatever types of EMR in my vicinity. And all the spraying that goes around here. There could be so many things that be inhibiting my ability to think. But when it takes time for me to, mine a word out of my skull so that I can repeat, so I can articulate it, I can cut all that stuff out after the video is done. So I did that a little bit here. I did that with this one, the Fit News, reacting to Greg Doucette, Nocturnal News, Nocturnal Kent. That one I was really proud of. I got to do something that I used to do a long time ago where I would insert the pictures as I'm speaking about things so the people have the visual. It's really, really nice way to watch a video. Sometimes put a little soundbite or a little bit of bleep so people can you get a sound to go with the image popping up is, that also helps. But I want to get into doing some more short videos and some reaction videos over here. Currently, you're going to see 2, 3 Dr. Glidden videos on there. And then this one right here, the Fit News. This one was so good, though. Impulses that drive obesity and addiction stem from deficiencies. That is where it starts. And that's what keeps it harder to manage. Because even after you've broken a habit or a routine, if you're deficient, you're going to be craving something and you're going to fall back into the old patterns of what used to make you feel like you weren't lacking something. Even if you don't know what that lack was or that sensation was when you first went off the rails, it's going to be a lot harder for you to not just choose that same thing again and relapse. So if you understand that you need minerals and it'll help to reel yourself back in, it's going to be a lot easier for you to lose weight. It's going to be a lot easier for you to put it down, whatever the hell it is, Also, don't immerse yourself in the things that you're not supposed to have. Don't buy stuff and say, well, I'm not touching that. It's like, don't buy chocolate bars if you don't want to eat chocolate. Don't buy oatmeal if you don't want to eat oatmeal. or cereal or milk or whatever the hell it is. I just listed all the carbs because that's what I'm trying to stay away from. Impulses that drive obesity and addiction stem from deficiency. So yes, and they are at the root of what probably made you start feeling like you weren't complete and whole in the first place. That you needed to self-medicate or self-soothe. And sometimes people do that with food, and then it becomes a stress-induced thing or even a happy thing. It doesn't have to be any particular emotion or a go-to for everything. You know, whatever the emotion is, you plug it with food. Some people, they trade up their sexual impulses and desires for food, trying to replace what they're not getting enough of with something that's going to make it harder for them to get the other thing later on when they're not looking as good. Kind of shitty, right? So we're going to try to reverse a lot of that stuff over here. And we're at 22 subscribers right now. For whatever reason, it won't let me add an additional link. It kept on failing. That's all. With the Twitter and the Azure standard thing is in there. We have a coupon code for Dr. Glidden. Specifically, he made it for me yesterday. I asked him for it, and it's FitWit, all lowercase, no space. And you can use that just like you can use Ballbusters for 25% off. So that, I'm making it official. I got shirts coming. They said it's already been shipped. I got them from Gelato. I'm testing 2 different designs out. I'm going gung-ho on this. Like, this is I feel like I finally figured out what I really have a passion for. So, I mean, I've had it for a while, but I was kind of incorporating it in all the other things that I did. So that is that. And the other thing I wanted to show you was this website here. And Foodstar is 6% off for sure. And that's for everything. But if you want 15% off, you just can't use it on the bundles. Okay, because these already have free shipping. And so does the Gallon of the Gods. Now, there's a 6 and a 3-pack too. Those do not, for whatever I hadn't applied the coupon code to those. It's when you're picking individual sauces or you're picking the creatine or whatever, those all have the 15% off on them. But the bundles already have like up to $24 free shipping depending on where the heck you live. Domestic. If you go into far and away places and you expect me to spend $100 to ship it to you, you're out of your fucking mind. I'll just cancel the order. All right. Now we got through that. Morning, coffee, midnight. What the fuck? Anyway, so let's read some of these first. Hi, Karen. No swimmer swimming. I'm dying right now. Good one. Aloha, snack bar, Dan. Hello, Edward Snowman. How are you, sir? How's our Godson's show going? I got into it with my friend about to start taking statins. I'm stupid because he asked 2 doctors and they said it's good for him. Well, obviously, it's good for them. It's good for the doctors. They can get enough people on, the more people, the better. Not only is it a constant stream of income, but if they hit certain percentages, a certain amount of people, they're going to get bonuses. And statins are one of those things that are integrated into the insurance. Well, some of these fucking people, did Scott ever tell you the story when he was on? He's told it many times. I don't know if and I know he's told it to me on the show before, but I'm not sure if everybody caught this. When Scott was diagnosed, so we're talking about Scott Shera, Grace's dad. When he was diagnosed with congestive heart failure, he sought his own remedies because of the bullshit that they were trying to do. And he did his own research and studying, and he got things taken care of on his own. They told him that he needed to be on a statin. He asked them some questions. They didn't give him proper answers that he was satisfied with. And he told them that he wasn't going to be doing that. And then one of the nurses, or maybe it was another side doctor or whatever, because there might have been a whole practice with a couple doctors. I can't remember which way it was. I think it was a nurse, but she kind of grabbed him, pulled him aside, and said, "Scott, you have to take the statin." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "No, I'm not taking the statin." She's like, "No, you don't understand. They'll drop you as a patient if you don't take the statin. So that was, he tells the story with all the details. I'm just telling you what the incentive or the implied incentive is here. If they don't keep, just same thing with the pediatricians, if they don't convince you and they try to convince you and coerce you and convince and coerce would be the best ones, and batter maybe. What is it? That's not a full sentence, Mr. Smalls. Help us out here. They'll try to batter you into getting your child's vaccines, and if you don't, well, then they use CPS and they use social workers and do all kinds of shit to fuck with you. Are you trying to be funny? Because it isn't. So they'll drop you, or they'll get into your life and try to tear your children apart, which is kind of a more of an important thing than looking at this fucking. What is this? Like, you know that's what does that even mean, dude? Okay, you're a fucking loser. Thank you. Jesus Christ. Fucking faggot. All right, now let's move on to, and I've got this set up here. I want, well, if someone who says I want to be a, well, who do you like? It's so funny that everybody thinks that somebody else has to grant them it's like just do it. If that's what you want to be. Do you even know what that word is? Do you even know what the term is? Or are you taking somebody else's impression of what that term's supposed to mean? And we have So I thought this was interesting. 1950s brick facade being removed from historic 1800s building. Throughout the mid-20th century, countless Victorian buildings were covered with flat, boring-ass, stupid, bland brick. Because what? Infiltrated? Exactly. Brick facades or metal cladding as owners tried to replace their ornate appearance with a more modern look. Today, peeling away those later additions often uncovers remarkably preserved craftsmanship, including intricate stone carvings, elegant arched windows, and hand-laid brickwork that spent decades protected from the weather. The transformation can be breathtaking, but restoring these hidden features is a delicate process. Older bricks are typically softer and more porous than modern ones, requiring a traditional lime base. Would that really? You really think that that's what the issue is? They built everything better before. I don't know if I buy that last part of that. What I do recognize is that they definitely covered up anything that was inspiring and turned it into bullshit. Who do you think who do you think decreed that? And yeah. Oops, wrong one.
Show you how to stop getting flat tires. Step number 1, avoid hugging right-hand turns. Nail City, dude.
Yeah. Remember we were talking about how Mexicanos don't know how to tie fucking shit down? And they got buckets full of loose shit or just loose shit in their truck. Slips through the gate. If they even have a gate on the back of it. They don't tie anything down.
Need to stop taking their turns too wide. You're having another bad day. You need to avoid being too far to the left. Oh, too far to the left, too far to the right. Where am I supposed to drive? Dude, I don't know. In general, when cars are changing direction, avoid it. All right, wait for a break in traffic. Here we go. All of that was going square into your tire. And the last place you want to avoid is where cars have to start speeding up to get onto something. Woo!
Today's episode is brought to you by
This guy for commissioning.
Not when cars have to, but freaking pickup trucks and douchebags. It's going to be something that's open to the air that's dropping shit.
Starting off strong with 12 pieces of scrap, 15 pieces of wire, 2 ratchet straps, 1 dinner knife, 13 keys, 1 thick steel handle, 1 motorcycle chain, 1 pair of glasses frames. Does anyone know what this could be? Or this, for that matter.
That looks like it was a cap for like a radiator or something like that inside the vehicle.
1 wrench, 1 antique pocket knife, 49 threaded items, 7 tire weights, 8 batteries. I think this is an old perfume container.
It's crack! Okay.
102 nails, 10 bottle caps, 1 S-hook, 13 nuts, 1 lug dug nut, 2 springs. I think this is a garage door opener.
I think it's a car door opener.
Fingernail clippers, $1.04 in change, got paid today. 15 washers.
Yeah, but how
14
would those have been pulled up with a magnet? What the hell? How does that make sense?
drill bits, 4 sockets. Anyone tell me what all of these are? Weighing in at 10 pounds, 14 ounces.
All right, today I'm going to show you how to
If Batman had magnets. That's the name? Whatever. May as well. See what else he does.
Dan Crenshaw finally decided to show up on Instagram because he couldn't look the VFW in the face when we were
Well, he could only look at him with one eye anyway.
literally there just the other day. Let's go ahead and dive into this one together.
VFW, with the help of a small handful of 4 Republicans, of course all Democrats,
Oh, good. He was on crack.
just fucked over combat wounded
Or
veterans
maybe it was meth.
and surviving spouses.
Hold on. He just said the VFW, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, an organization that stood the line for 125 years, screwed over combat wounded veterans. The same VFW that supported and helped with the GI Bill, that fought for PTSD recognition. How about the burn pit coverage? No, Dan Crenshaw, who served 1 term in Congress and didn't get reelected, is telling the VFW how to do their job. I'll wait.
How would they do that? Congress finally got their shit together and put together a pretty good bill. A bill that, again, helps surviving spouses, actually helps combat wounded veterans, sizes the kind of benefits everyone gets. To pay for that, they right-size other
That's what you call a Zionist Israeli shield piece of shit.
benefits that veterans have been getting forever. Like 50% disability rating for sleep apnea. That is bullshit. It was, when I was getting out, it was a 30% disability rating if you lose a limb
He probably got drunk and fell over and lost his eye. And oh, it's combat.
or an eye.
Here's where I'm going to be very, very direct. I respect your service and your sacrifice, Dan. Losing your eye in combat is a real thing. Using your own injury to argue
Is it
that
though?
veterans who are tethered but to a breathing machine every night because of their deployment, their TBIs, their PTSD, they deserve a 10% rating instead of 50%.
Tinnitus, another bullshit disability rating.
Did he just say tinnitus can't be scientifically connected to service? The VA's own research calls it the
Where else would you have heard loud noises? As I forgot where I heard that from. Probably some Woody Allen movie. Or maybe it was the other retard. Somebody making fun of them, like doing a parody. Oh no, it was that retard from Family Guy. The guy with the glasses, right? Oh god, I forgot his name. There's a little weird Jew guy with the black rim glasses.
single most prevalent service-connected disability in the entire system.
That's the pay for. It doesn't even affect anyone getting their benefits now. A handful of Republicans and all Democrats are too chicken shit to actually get it done. Who's suffering now? The people who actually need these benefits. So good job, VFW. Good job. You're a victim-worshipping relic of an organization.
There it is. Thank you. VFW for screwing over veterans. Let me tell you exactly why the VFW, the DAV, and the IAVA, the Marine Corps League, and 21 other organizations said no to your bill, Dan. It's called Section 108. If your bill tried to pay for the Richard Starr Act, which we all want, by stripping the tinnitus and sleep apnea ratings from future veterans who are, let's just say it this way, currently downrange. You tried to make disabled veterans pay for their other disabilities and compromises. This is a shell game. The VFW has been around long enough to recognize this.
You suck. And I don't think anyone, no veteran out there, should ever join the VFW. They're honestly very depressing to go to anyway.
The VFW doesn't answer to Dan Crenshaw. They answer to the veteran community. The veteran community read the bill. We were in DC on Monday. We read the receipts in hand. He shut the door in our face. Now he's on Instagram. Dan, the door is still open. Come talk to us. Bring your receipts. We'll bring ours. Class dismissed.
Why do what? Ah, yeah, all right. They can't even hold up a picture without failing. That's how fucking shitty Instagram is. Why does Erica Kirk's brother, Travis Yinta, look strangely similar to the person in the Utah surveillance footage? Also, Tyler Robinson is first cousins with Nick Shirley. I'm gonna check that. Because I know Nick Shirley's a fucking shill faggot fake. He's the one that brought us Jake Lang. He's the one who was out there when he was doing his dumb shit in wherever it was, Michigan or wherever the hell it was. He was the guy recording him. The fake Christian. Is Tyler... Is it L-E-Y? Oh, I said I-N, you fuck. It's just my shit-ass fucking title. Fuck off. This is completely false. Here is my family tree for proof. Shirley wrote, based on Shirley's public response, there is currently no evidence showing that he and Robinson are related. Oh, because he said so? Because maybe it got out? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure if I buy that. Fuck off. Shut the... What are we doing? Times of India. Go fuck yourself. You can't hit continue. It doesn't let you. Jesus fucking Christ. Fact check. No evidence. Okay. Yep. So they're really on top of this. I wonder why they want so badly to squash that. Is it because like they wouldn't care? Nobody cares unless they're actually playing a game. Nobody would even give a shit. Oh, well, that's their problem to deal with. Unless. Oh, Jesus Mesa here. Okay, that's the guy I'm going to trust. I don't know if it's true or not, but let's see. I bet a lot of people yelled at him. Yep, moms are half sisters. Is that verified? Look it up. It's floating around now. Make a decision yourself. I've seen it mentioned before. I'll definitely look into it. That's wild. And what's your point? What do you mean, what's your point? That everything is fake and gay, you dumb fucking faggot. That's what the point is. This is how fucking retarded somebody is. It says, even if that were true, which is highly unlikely, are you implying Nick Shirley is somehow involved with Charlie Kirk? No, you fucking retard. It's that it's fucking fake and gay, and that guy that they're telling you shot him probably wasn't there at all, you dumb fuck. Or he had absolutely nothing to do with it. Obviously had nothing to do with it. Every single part of that story, right down to the firearm, is a complete and total lie. And it is very interesting that he would happen to look a lot like this fucking lurching little fucker right here. An awful lot. I mean, Charlie Kirk was there. His wife was there. Why wouldn't her brother, It's an event. You likely have no idea how moronic that sounds. No, you sound like a retard because you're that fucking dense, you fucking retard. That was an implication that you made based off of being a fucking retard. Retard. Jesus Christ. This is what's out there. This is what floats around. Why do you think I play What Are Words For? That's actually the name of the song is Words. No, she says no. Nick was a placed asset. It's the impossible coincidences that revealed truths. Oh God, nothing was said about Shirley being involved in the Kirk case. That giant leap without a landing you made all on your own. Exactly. Nick Shirley is Nick Shirley. Wild World. You're fucking retarded. Wow, there's so many fucking retarded human beings out here. So anyhow, don't get lost in that because I don't know. With nobody to strangle or beat to death with your bare hands, you might end up taking yourself out, and I don't want to see that happen to you. You just feel like something has to die after fucking watching and reading that shit. This is fucking Christ.
You know, when I do this, it's meant to put you guys in the path of professionalism, right? I don't want you fucking up. I don't want you making mistakes. I don't want you doing something that will cost really, really precious time or effort in your career. So Sergeant DuPont, Sergeant Rios of the Harris County Sheriff's Department, this one's on you. Now, I have a legitimate question. This was posted on your very public social media in your stories.
You shouldn't
today.
have it at all.
I'm going to play exactly what you posted and ask you a question.
They shouldn't have social media at all. 17 years later, LASIK eye surgery went from 2020 to 25. Not bad. What do you mean?
Now, as innocent as that was, do you think it was the smartest fucking idea for you to break the law, as small as it is for social media? Because my question is this. Number one, doesn't matter if you're in Texas, your actions will affect somebody in New York, Washington State, Florida, based on the perception of society. Oh, well, I got pulled over for using his phone, but here's police command staff doing the exact same thing and nothing happened to them. Every time we get hate from police or for police, it's from bullshit like this and the hypocrisy. Not to mention the fact you're a command. You're supposed to be setting the example, your leadership. What happens the day that one of your guys gets a righteous bust, finds a fucking dead body in the back of the trunk, gun on the seat, gets a post-Miranda confession, and some shyster lawyer sits and says, Your Honor, I'm going to argue fruit of the poisonous tree. Here's video evidence of Sergeant Rios with the Harris County Sheriff's Department, the very department that pulled my client over, doing the exact same offense. You guys got to stop leveraging your uniform for bullshit social media likes and maybe start studying more, learn case line more, train, become more tactical. If you did your job more professionally, maybe there'd be less police hate.
Right. If you want to be a social media star and a police officer, you should go straight to OF. That way you're not out there for everybody to see. Just whoever pays.
Maybe there'd be less recidivism and maybe there'd be more righteous police action being done on the street. This is bullshit. You need to be held.
This is bullshit. I can't live like this. You ever hear that song?
It's fucking childish. Grow the fuck up. Lead properly. You got those stripes for a reason. And I hope it's not the reason everybody would assume because you're an attractive female. Do the job the right fucking way. Be a professional. This was not it. You know, when I do.
Gave her somehow a compliment in there.
Today's lesson will be on general combative knowledge, not so much technique. So if you start feeling bored and want to scroll away, suck it up and tough it out. You probably need to grow your attention span anyways, watching all of this short-form content, as if I'm not part of the problem. Moving on, it's really cool that that big fella can make himself the joke, but really he's being too kind. I mean, it's really cool for a guy of his size to take a couple of hits every now and again and play around, but if he ever gets bored or upset and decides to just... that other guy's going out if it connects. And I'm not trying to say that your technique is useless. Lord knows if you fight some big guy who knows jack about combat, it almost doesn't matter what size you are, you're gonna piece him up. But if some guy who is twice your height and damn near twice your weight understands how to throw a straight punch and a good push kick, I'm gonna keep it a buck, fam. It's gonna be a rough day at the office. Best thing to do if you have to fight or spar someone like that is to stay on your bicycle. Keep moving around. Don't stand right in front of this guy. And create your own openings.
Anybody know this is going on? Watch this. This is the world according to Trump, everybody. Wild horses.
This is where they belong. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. They don't deserve to be in prison. They shouldn't be picked up. They shouldn't be rounded up. This is their land. Look at that. Look at this. The whole families, the whole herds, everyone, just enjoying their life. This is their land. And we're taking them away from their land. We're taking them away from their families. And we're locking them up in prisons. That's basically what it is. It's fucking prison. Just, how can you look at that and say...
What the fuck is with the music? Shut up. Alright. Says America's losing one of its last true symbols of freedom, and almost nobody is talking about it. These wild horses aren't invading our land. This is their home. For generations, Nevada's wild horses have roamed the open range. Today, helicopters chase them across the desert. Families are separated, and thousands are removed from public lands and placed into government holding facilities. Meanwhile, taxpayers spend hundreds of millions of dollars managing the roundup and holding system. We need serious conversation about how our public lands are being managed. The future of America's wild horses and whether we're protecting a living piece of our history are slowly watching it disappear. Let me say that again. No, that's a whole big round sentence. Future about horses and whether we're protecting a living piece of our history or slowly watching it disappear. Once these horses are gone, they're not coming back. America deserves transparency. Nevada deserves answers, and our wild horses deserve a future. Protect America's wild horses before they're just another chapter in the history books. And let me throw this on here too. Oh, maybe I'll wait for more. We got another opportunity to drop that in a second. Training with a revolver, shooting training. Okay. Somebody says we got Russian cowboys before GTA 6.
There's a foreign influence operation running on American voters right now. It's not Russia, it's not Chinese. It's Israeli. I spent years as a counterterrorism intelligence analyst. Understanding influence operations are critical to success in this line of work. So let's discuss what the filings say. Israel is paying Clock Tower X. That's the firm.
Are you in the passenger seat or driving? The fuck?
Brad Parscale, President Trump's former campaign manager, $1.5 million a month. The contract calls for 100 pieces of content every month, at least 80% aimed at Gen Z. A pledge of 50 million digital impressions each month. The filings name a second target, artificial intelligence. The campaign's stated goal includes shaping how AI tools, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, characterize Israel and this war. The chatbot you use to ask for a neutral summary is itself a battle space in a registered...
She's got an M around her neck for maintenance.
...foreign agent contract. Time sources describe coordinated talking points pushed to conservative influencers through private group chats with pay tied to engagement. One comparable campaign paid up to $4,250 per post. A senior U.S. intelligence official told Time this cannot be dismissed as inconsequential. But the best part? Apparently it's not working. An Israeli official told Time, quote, "We are pissed at Brad Parscale." Only 32% of Americans view the Israeli government favorably, the lowest in decades. Among Republicans under 50, they are unfavorable, hit 57%. Now, the timing here, I don't believe it's a coincidence. A House takes its first recorded vote on cutting all $3.3 billion in Israeli aid, possibly tomorrow night. The vote on your tax dollars happens inside an information environment a foreign government is paying to shape. That is not just my assessment, that is a federal filing. This is where you can actually make a difference. Call your representative.
Yeah, there's where the retard comes in. Call your representatives. Stroke. Shut the fuck up.
You tell the story about.
Yeah, if you pretend that it's a real system, it just magically becomes one. If you don't realize that it's just a cardboard cut, like when you go to the Hollywood movie lots and like, oh look, it's a whole city and town that, yeah, that's where the burbs. That's where they did the burbs, and then it's like it's just held up with 2x4s. That's your system, your legislative, judicial, blah blah blah, and executive. There's no, it's nothing. It's just bullshit. So they look like they're doing something legitimate, so that people don't realize that there's a corporatocracy and they have no representation. And when they're ready to do what they're going to do, they're going to do what they're going to do. And it's going to be a Purim, and we're going to have to fight for our lives. Period. The fucking end.
How you try to find out what they call the Mossad when they deal with publicly?
I thought it was a reasonable question, but the trouble is, you can't pick up the phone book. There's no Langley in Israel that you can look up, CIA, or in our case, the Mossad. We thought we should ask, what shall we call it in English? You can translate the Hebrew words, as I said, Mossad is institute. But when they write a letter to their friends in the CIA or the British intelligence, what do they call themselves? It took a while. It was a matter of asking the Prime Minister's spokesman. The best you could do, because officially the Mossad is under the Prime Minister's office. And I think he sort of wondered why you want to know and all that, so we explained. And he came up with the Israeli Secret Intelligence Service. And if it were to have initials, it would be ISIS. Just simple words like that. Interestingly enough, kind of a British model.
You tell the story about how you tried to find out what the...
Yeah, like ISIS. But, I mean, there's also this thing called coincidence, because we know the CIA is the same thing as the Mossad, is the same thing as ISIS, is whatever else they want to put out there. All things that are pretend combatant or enemies that seem to oddly and strangely do all the things that the government wants to do for them, and then they have to pretend that they're mad about it. Yeah, I'm sure there's no connection there.
This guy goes to check in jail. So he's having a back and forth with these cops, and the cops
checking
are
in
annoying
jail.
the shit out of him. The cops just lost their shit. They go to arrest him. So they're going to say that he kicked him, but he doesn't kick him. He doesn't kick him at all.
Hey, stop resisting!
Look at these fucking fat fucking pieces of shit.
He grabs him by the head like this, and now they're all... What are they doing here?
Take him! Get down!
That fat fuck.
Electrocuting him.
These fat loser fucks.
Guys on top of him. They're tasing him more. He's on the ground. They're still electrocuting him.
I'd be pissed if I had somebody summons me in to have to spend the night in jail or whatever the fuck it is. If I have an attitude about it and I threw some of my own papers in the air, who gives a fuck? Or rips it up. He's there. He showed up to take the responsibility for it. This bullshit happened to me when I was on the Coast Guard. They sent a ticket of something to the wrong fucking station. They sent it to like Oregon when I was in Washington, or the other way around. And it's like, well, what the fuck did you do that for? Oh, you never showed up for your court date. I'm like, I didn't even know I had a fucking court date. And underway, like out to sea, idiot. And you sent it to the wrong place anyway. So then I walked in and like, well, you're going to have to stay here. I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it. But it's fucking bullshit. It's like, I understand having an attitude about that. And fuck these fat fucks.
Code 3, that they need help. 3 full-grown men, and they need help. Out of all 3 of these cops, not a single one of them...
The dude's skinny. The dude was a scrawny man. And it takes 3 fat fucks plus some in order to subdue the guy because they're out of breath and fat and disgusting.
Knows any basic jujitsu, not basic wrestling. They don't know a thing, man. This guy goes to check in jail. So he's having a back and forth with these...
Yeah, and I would be pissed too, and fuck those people. That's all I'm saying.
Oh no! That bitch. That bitch did not run. Lucky. That boy finna be Swiss cheese. I swear to God. Oh shit.
Nice dog.
You all thought I was going to say something bad about that, weren't you? I saw this come across my feed the other day, and I wanted to share with you guys because I think this is a perfect example of
a white guy sucking a black guy off and praising him for accidentally doing something right. That's what I see it as.
having fun at the range while being safe and responsible. So slowing it down a little bit, we're running, we're shooting, something unexpected happens, fingers of
You're not legitimately saying this when he's running around in fucking slip-on shoes, right? That he's Johnny Tactical. He's not just trying to be, training for his next murder. No. It's because he's totally conscious of what downrange means. You fucking cuck.
heel off the trigger, barrels in a safe direction. Decisions made to fire again, putting finger back on the trigger, something unexpected happens, finger off the trigger immediately again.
Yeah, that's fine.
Keeping the barrel downrange.
Yeah, I see, and I do see that, but still, when it clicked on him and he went, he did turn it like full 90-degree direction and then back down range. So it wasn't enough for him to not notice that. I mean, you're like, why was that not an issue?
The entire time.
See?
So we're backing
He's
up to
pulling
try
it
to
the
figure
other
out what
way.
happens, flipping our weapon to safe, and a round goes off. His finger was never on the trigger. So what we have here is called an accidental discharge, not a negligent discharge, because there's a difference. A negligent discharge means that you, as the shooter, made some error in the 4 basic rules of firearm safety and negligently discharged a round. You shot a round when you didn't mean one to go off. An accidental discharge.
Oh,
is
geez,
when
stop talking to us like we're fucking children. We get it. Jesus Christ. I know half the people have to be talked to like that, but I get is.
Hey, you should yell out, get him a straitjacket. To Mike? No way. Come on, dude. It'll be funny. Plus, it's super loud in here. No one's gonna hear you. Don't be a pussy, man.
Why don't you do it, faggot?
Nice, dude.
Put your mother in a straitjacket, you punk ass white boy. Come here and tell me that if I you in your ass, you punk white boy. You can't touch me, you're not man enough. I eat your asshole alive, you bitch.
There's an awful lot of gay shit going on there. Oh yeah, he was just in prison.
Ass. Fuck you, you hoe. Come and say in my face, fuck you, ass for everybody. You bitch. Come on, you bitch. You scared coward. You not man enough to fuck with me. You can't last 2 minutes in my world, bitch. Look at you scared now, you hoe. Scared like a little white pussy. Scared of the real man. I'll fuck you till you love me.
Yeah, that was a bad idea. Hey, you should yell.
I'll fuck you till you love me, faggot.
Yell out, get him a straitjacket.
What the fuck? There's all kinds of homo going on there. I guess it's more unnerving than even just being. I don't know. It's kind of messed up. Let's go back to the chat. Holy shit, we have some chats. All right, let's see. Edward Soma says, like stepping on goddamn Legos barefoot. We call that a deep tissue foot massage. No, those things hurt like hell, man. Karen says, where else can you hear loud noises? A nagging spouse that yells is another way to get that noise. Yeah, that's true, but I don't know if you get tinnitus, right? Maybe. The guy who swings from his punching bag is hilarious. Yeah, he's a good guy. And he's constantly doing different poses while he's talking. It's like, that's actually keeping people's attention, but it's also funny because he's always in weird spots. Like, I've seen cartoons do that where, like, next thing you know, they're upside down, like, like Spider-Man on the wall. And it's like, oh, good times. Unfortunately, the wild horse roundups have been going on forever. It's disgusting what happens to them. Deep tissue. Says N-word. Hi, Olo. And then Karen says, well, those ossifers could have gotten a paper cut from all the harmful flying paper shrapnel. My land, those cops were out of control. My land, those cops are out of control. Karen says hi to Irva. Okay, sorry. Shit, we was tackle shooters and shit. Well, Irva says, well, Mike Tyson wasn't known for his articulate skills or morals, but his show with Norm Macdonald was fucking hilarious. I'll have to look that up. Send him to the rape ape cage where he'll be at home. Exactly. Apparently he'll eat their ass and fuck them until they love him. So, I mean, just because you're in prison doesn't mean the sex has to stop. In fact, it could just be all the time. I don't know. It's not too choosy. Nobody did it, did they? Nobody did it. Everybody who already did it though. Nope, not that one. Let me put one up for you while I go grab something. The cat one, let's just do the cat one because it's cute, real quick. But I don't want to see the second part. The second part's dumb. It's just funny looking at them.
Hello. Hello, my darling.
It just means that they're very comfortable. They feel very safe, right? See, I'm gonna sit here and sunbathe like roadkill. I'm flicking my tail every once in a while so that you know I'm not dead. There you go. See that life? If you do everything right in this one, you come back as a cat. All right, so this is kind of going along with the concepts here that everything's going to hell and we are the target. Continuation, data center style. So let's have a little listen here. I'll be back in a moment too. I'm not going to be going long. You might not see me on the screen, but I might be sitting here. Oh, and thank you very much, Edward Snowman. Okay, popped up when we were listening to something else. Thank you very, 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 very much. Let's see. This and that.
On the day of your daughter's wedding, I march up to you, fee-fi-fo-fum my way over, and I say, give me your house. Well, you can do a few things there. You can give me your house, negotiate to sell me your house. You can poke me in the eyes like Captain Insano, punch me in the face, fucking titty twist me. That's called a choice. You have a choice there. Your local government comes up to you and says, give me your house. Buster. There ain't no choice. Not now. Not with data centers being the most important thing to these fucking zombies in power. I know I've yapped about it a lot, but legitimately, AI data centers are actually the boogeyman. They are just a scourge on this planet and a stain on civilized society. They are these behemoths that require all infrastructure to be changed to suit their gluttony, to satiate their insatiable appetite. And doing so just pillages communities while seeing basically no benefit beyond the temporary jobs they use to build them. Always worth reminding you that the data centers that we have, except for like the biggest ones, usually have like 20, maybe 25 on the high end full-time employees. And sometimes not even that much. Even the biggest ones don't have significantly more full-time employees than that. So it is a complete plague on communities in which AI data centers infest. And it is just a growing problem, much like the explosive diarrhea problem, except on a much larger scale. And your local government prioritizes these data centers over you, the human beings, the civilians in which they were elected to represent and try and support. They have sold you out and are actively just selling you for parts, your land, your water, your electricity. All of it is being diverted to these AI data center demons. And I just watched a story that covered one family's lengthy battle that unfortunately ended in defeat against Georgia Power, who swooped in and told them that they would need to sell them their house, a house they had owned for multiple decades, because they were upping their power grid and needed to run lines through their property to supply to the AI data center there. And they couldn't refuse, because if they didn't sell their house, they made it clear that they would just seize it under eminent domain.
Welcome back. Some homeowners in Georgia are being given an ultimatum to sell their homes, or the state will, get this, take it to make way for AI data centers. CBS News correspondent Skylar Henry has more.
I'm a single mom. I worked hard for everything.
How do you put a price on a home you never intended to sell?
Well, I'd say horseradish. Hoo-wee with that. You can't put a price tag on fun. And what's more fun than an AI data center? Especially if you're at the top of the food chain. Dropping the sarcasm. Obviously, no normal person actually sees a benefit when an AI data center comes through. All of the evidence from all of the operational data centers across this country confirm that. From everything I've seen, all of the data does not seem to indicate that the communities, the local communities, actually get any benefits from these data centers that get put in. It is just a burden. And now, as I've said, all of these local governments are scrambling to do what they can to ensure they get built come hell or high water, and are actively shutting out the voices of the communities that they are supposed to represent and protect. It is sickening.
One filled with more than 2 decades of memories.
I think I was 5 or 6 when this was built.
The yard where you buried your pets. The greenhouse that fed your family.
When you talk about what being on this property means to you,
Yeah.
right? It's y'all's.
It's ours. It's our family. We belong here.
But Ansley Brown's childhood home likely won't be here much longer. That's because the state's largest utility, Georgia Power, says it needs the area to make way for a 35-mile-long transmission line.
Now, if you're an AI data center cock gobbler, you might be going with the very obvious low-hanging fruit argument of, well, this is important because this is public infrastructure that will serve the community by adding these lines here to up the power grid. This is going to be in service to everyone there. Thus, if they are not willing to sell, eminent domain does make sense. And this is an open and shut case. But here's the thing. They openly talk about these new lines and this upgrade. Almost all of it is solely for AI data center, not for the community. That is not serving the public. Again, all of the data that is readily accessible right there at your fingertips can show you that AI data centers are not actually serving the community in a helpful way. The only people it serves, the only people it benefits, are the putrid ghouls at the top of the food chain that are behind these projects, that make tons and tons of money off of it. And the local governments, well, maybe they get some doubloons tossed their way as well, a little bit of the scraps there to incentivize greenlighting these projects.
Georgia Power has been here for as long as Ansley's mother has owned this property. It's just beyond the tree line. Now, with the expansion of this latest project, they're looking to take the 2.5 acres the house sits on.
Georgia Power says increasing demand has outpaced the capacity of its existing grid, and building a new transmission line requires acquiring more than 300 parcels of land, including residential properties.
Fuck that. Fuck you. Georgia has a CDC, had the Guy Zone. It's got all kinds of jacked up crap going on.
What did your mom tell you she wanted
Careful, there's a black man in the proximity of a white woman.
For this property to be?
Generational wealth, true generational wealth was the idea, and now it's being stripped from us.
Georgia Power estimates 70 to 80% of the power on this new line is expected to help serve data centers. It says the remaining 20 to 30% of power will serve the state's growing residential and commercial demand.
70 to 80% of this upgrade is solely for AI data centers, huh? Interesting. And this is what they're publicly sharing, which is oftentimes very charitable, of very generous numbers that they like to work with there. They put on a full face of makeup here to really make it seem like, no, this is like good for you, actually. And even with that in mind, they still say 70 to 80% is used solely for data centers, and then the civilians, the plebeians, get the remaining 20 to 30% of this upgrade. So, I think just looking at these raw numbers, I feel you can make a very strong argument that this is not in service of the community, that's an afterthought. It's in service to the AI data centers that are placing more of a demand here that you are appeasing and upgrading, and now taking over 300 parcels of land from the community and residents, including this family's cherished, beloved home. And I just don't think it's in service of the community. I think it's blatantly obvious it's not. Thus, I don't think eminent domain should even be an option on the table. Now, according to the daughter here, the price they wanted for their home to be taken by Georgia Power was astronomical, generational wealth, which they didn't want to play ball with. Instead, I imagine they went with some lowball offers, as is standard procedure when this kind of shit unfolds here, where they try and take advantage of the situation here, because there's not a choice, really. As you're about to hear more in the story, this has been like a year-long battle where they were trying to purchase the house from them. They weren't wanting to sell, unless, of course, generational wealth was an offer on the table, which, of course, they're never going to do. Thus, they were looking to potentially employ eminent domain to just strip it from them regardless, thus forcing them to accept the offer and sell the home to them, because they don't have a choice. Basically, you are going to lose your house in this case right here. It is fucking checkmate on the board. And it's just suffocating. It's just fucking awful. And
that's when the community gets together and shows people how to go downrange properly without any jamming. And then maybe we'll be taken seriously again. There's only so much we have to take. And there's whatever that point is that we're pushed to, that's when things will happen, I guess. Or not. Maybe people had forgotten that it's up to us to decide how much shit we're going to put up with.
I don't think it's unreasonable to say, like, we don't want to sell it. If you really want it that bad, generational wealth is what you're going to need to offer. Otherwise, fucking take a hike, pussy. Like, I don't blame them for that.
Georgia Power told us that they feel as if they've done this process responsibly. What would you say to that?
I disagree. You can't tear down 35 miles of rural Georgia and it not hurt something or somebody. And to say that you're doing it in the name of data centers is a slap in the face to us, our community, our animals.
Brown's mother recently came to an agreement with Georgia Power to sell. Brown says if she didn't, the utility could have sought to acquire her property through eminent domain, a legal process that allows private property to be taken with compensation for projects determined to serve a public purpose.
Which in my eyes, this case does not exemplify. There is no good argument, no real argument you can make that an AI data center leeching off your community is actually serving the public in a meaningful way. Thus, I really don't think eminent domain should have even been an option on the table. I feel like you should wipe your ass with that here. But, of course, then the local government will always make the argument, no, this is actually so good for all of us. We all benefit from it. But, again, none of the data supports that. It doesn't. But, yeah, eminent domain, the idea behind it is, like, highways and shit. And typically the way it's employed is, like, instead of taking entire properties, entire homes...
Yeah, like railroads, where they destroy things, or burn a whole fucking town to death so they can put a railroad through it.
Take like bits and pieces of them, like of their parcel, to like extend things or build things through it. It's not overly common to take entire houses like this through eminent domain, but it has happened in the past, and in this case it was something they were fearful of. I'm guessing it was something that was at least tossed around as a potential option, a last resort, according to Georgia Power. And I just don't think that's right. Again, for data centers, this is not in the interest of the community. It's for their own selfish interest and their own selfish financial gain that exploits the community and actively takes people's homes. Now, in eminent domain, they do have to give compensation to the families at fair market price. But there's also a little bit of wiggle room there as well, arguing what is fair market price. So, like, I don't know what they ended up selling the house for, but it wasn't generational wealth, obviously.
All power generation starts somewhere.
Holly Lovett is a Georgia Power spokesperson.
Eminent domain is always, a last resort for us, and it's something we never want to do.
To us, it's theft. It's literally a billion-dollar company stealing land from smaller people who can't fight back. We don't have the money to fight Georgia Power.
So that's why a few
Make the bitch that's talking for and on behalf of Georgia Power look at this family in the face in person and talk her bullshit and see if she can still do it as confidently with as much lying bullshit in her mind. Like, we never want to do this. It's always the last resort. How often do you steal people's homes that you can say words like always, you fucking dirty whore?
Ago, Ansley took her story to TikTok.
My childhood home is being taken by Georgia Power.
She began sharing stories of others in similar situations.
The Georgia Power spokesperson, I'm pretty sure, is powered by Claude. She is giving like the most boilerplate PR shit you're ever going to hear in your life and can't even begin to teeter on the realm of even sounding human anymore. So anyway, she blew this story up on TikTok about how her childhood home was being taken. And I agree with what she says. It feels like theft to me as well. These are billion-dollar corporations, in this case here, a billion-dollar corporation coming through, and they're taking so much land in order to fulfill the power demands of the AI data center that I know for sure normal civilians weren't championing for. I know they weren't pumping their fists celebrating, because no normal people with functioning frontal lobes want data centers in their community. It is bad for them. So this was already something that they didn't want, and now they're being even further impacted negatively by it. It is a slap in the face. They're taking their home. It's a forced sale. And the spokesperson even says, yeah, we don't like eminent domain. That's nasty stuff. We know that's the nuclear option. It's always a last resort for us. We don't like to do it. But, I mean, someone's got to get the dirty work done down in the piggy pen. Like, it is something, and we got to do it. So they know that families like this can't fight back, as they said. It's too expensive to go up against Georgia Power, and they know that they will lose this house one way or the other, either through eminent domain and getting whatever wacky compensation they pull out of their ass deemed fair market price, or they just take the offer of the purchase.
Okay. Oh, shut the fuck up. BlackRock is simply an investor in that company as a major asset manager. So, again, fucking around with semantics. BlackRock is the asset manager. Fucking. So that was what I was curious about, and the answer was yes. But of course, AI is a fucking asshole.
The sale, like whatever they're offering, they just have to accept because they don't have a choice. They can't fight it, and it's just a losing battle. It sucks. Like, this is a home that clearly this family has had for a long time now. It has a lot of meaning, a lot of memories. It wasn't one they wanted to sell, and it's one they fought to keep for an extended period of time.
Yeah, think about this for a second. So rural, right? People thinking that they're going to live off grid, that that's going to be the place to be. Stay away from the cities, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. They're not putting data centers in cities. They're putting data centers in the middle of nowhere. They're putting data centers in a place where people can enjoy nature and get away from them. That's who they're targeting first.
But going up against the local government, billion-dollar corporations, these vampires. It's just a losing battle. And it just shouldn't be that way.
What did what did the Bolsheviks do? They murdered all the farmers.
Like, again, it is very clearly not in the interest of serving the public. This is serving the AI overlords. That's it. The people that make money off these data centers, not the community. They don't see this. It's not a boon. It's a fucking curse. I don't know if I've ever talked about this, but I've been getting pretty conspiratorial on AI data centers recently, so I want to share a bit of the crack pipe I've been hitting in that regard, so get your tinfoil condoms ready. I was reading something that someone was sharing about, like, when an AI data center came through and the impact it had on their water, because that's a very common thing. And I've just really been toying around with this idea, and I've seen other people kind of talk about it occasionally as well. And I'm not fully bought into it hook, line, and sinker, but it's an interesting theory, a little game theory. What if the reason there's been seemingly so much more sickness, like it feels like people are getting sick more frequently now, and a wide variety of illnesses just seem more common now. What if AI data centers are hoarding all of the clean water, because obviously they are gluttonous, like they are so thirsty with an unquenchable thirst? What if all of the clean water is being diverted to the AI data centers and the normal civilians are just getting the sludge, runoff, polluted, contaminated garbage water in their tap and everything? I don't think it's unrealistic. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility here. Like, again, there are plenty of examples of even recently when I talked about where an AI data center was like, oh, whoops-a-daisy, it looks like we were taking all of the residents' water, like significantly more than we told you guys we were. Whoops, it was like a rounding error. We took like so much more water than we thought because they got caught red-handed doing so. So they're like, oh yeah, we looked into it. We took way too much water. Sorry, here, we'll give you guys some more back, trickling it down. So like, what if they are using all of the clean water and you're just getting trash poopy water, just absolute shit water? Like, I feel like maybe. Of course, I have no evidence to back that up other than just my own observations and my own little wacky ideas. But I don't know. They are evil enough to do that, no doubt in my mind. So who knows? Just something fun to play with as a little thought to kick around, I think. Just wanted to share that, because I fucking hate data centers. I am a D1 AI data center hater, so maybe I'm a bit blindness by my madness on the whole thing. But genuinely, everything evil about companies is epitomized with AI data centers in particular.
What do you say to someone who will push back on any sort of offer that's out there and say, well, the price tag can't replace memories?
Oh gosh, it almost makes me emotional because I have those memories in like my house, and I get how deeply personal people's homes are. I would just say that we see you and we hear you, and we want this process to be respectful and transparent, and that is going to ultimately benefit you.
Barbecue chicken alert! Barbecue chicken alert! Nope! I also love how she's like, oh yeah, hearing that, wow. It almost makes me emotional. I almost feel something, but then I remember all the clams. I remember all the money. Like, I can't feel anything. Are you kidding me? No. Yeah, we see you and we hear you, by the way. We're not going to change anything. We're still going to take your shit, but like we like see you and hear you, I guess. So, like, go away. It's going to benefit you. Don't you know? Like, this is for you, by the way. We know best. It's for you. So yeah, we're going to take your land, but like, we like see you and hear you. It's a really powerful statement. Thank you so much, Georgia Power spokesperson. I almost can't help but be impressed by the gobbledygook here. Like, they openly say 70 to 80% of the power from these new lines is solely for data centers. Like, they openly say that. And I imagine it's probably going to be more. Again, those numbers are the ones they report to the public. Thus, they want to make it look as good as possible. And that's the best they could do. Like, I bet it's going to be north of that. But even with that, only a measly, like, up to 30% is for you, the actual civilians in the community. And I imagine the argument she's trying to make is that the data center is for you, the civilians in the community. How? It's not. Like, you could just look at the evidence of all of the other communities that have been ass blasted by data centers.
It's for all of my fancy thumbnails lately. Just kidding.
It's just wrong. And I think, I mean, at least think most people see through the deception. I don't think many people fall for this garbage anymore. But the problem is, the people they elect to lead in the local governments there are just already fully corrupt, and they don't care. There have been so many people protesting vocally against it, going to all the meetings, voicing their concerns, and it just doesn't listen. They don't listen. It falls on deaf ears, and they still push all this shit through anyway, against the wishes of the community that they are elected to lead. That's just the state of it right now, unfortunately, in so many places in this country.
Brown doesn't buy that, and while she knows it's too late to save her home, she says she doesn't want to see this happen to anyone else.
My mom wants an apology.
She looks like a little tiny kid, but she's got tattoos. Am I the only one like trying to figure out how, like, what's that all about? Like, she looks very, very tiny. When she's with her mom, like, the age thing kind of becomes more of like a, how old is this girl? Is she like 15 or is she like 22? Like, how do you, what? I don't know. I don't get it.
She wants an apology from Georgia Power.
At first I thought she was the homeowner. Then I see her mom walking around with her. I'm like, whoa, okay. Why she got tattoos then?
That's it.
And it's because of how she feels as if she's been treated.
Yeah. I mean, for an entire year, they have bullied her. And there is no sorry. So that's what we want. We want an apology from Georgia Power.
Such important reporting there from our Skylar Henry. Thank you.
I agree. That is important reporting there. I think it is extremely valuable to showcase the impact data centers have on the locals when they swoop in here.
And I think it's important to show what pussies all of the community are if they didn't get behind that and assert their disfavor or their disagreement with that notion of Georgia Power. There's nothing, I don't know what anyone's ever told people out there, but even the best laid plans, and I've already paid for it, or they've already paid us, the deal's already done, regardless of what the people wanted. This is happening because we've already made the deal with the company that's doing the thing. And yeah, we could have gone around, but we're not going to because it's also what they said. They said they wanted to get you the fuck out of here, so we're going to take your house. But it doesn't stop there with the people. Let's put it this way. If you are no longer on the planet, whatever your agreements were with other people are kind of void. Right? So there's never too late. There's never a set in stone. Oh, it's too late now. Darn it, they already signed the paperwork against our will and against the will of the people. Oh, wait a minute. Isn't the will of the people the only thing that actually matters? And not the stupid people, but the good people, right? The ones with brains in their heads. Well, the ones that aren't evil. The ones that wouldn't do this type of shit to someone else. What is all their arsenals? Why aren't they pointed at Georgia Power and whatever other company happens to be trying to roll in with their data center? Because if they're not there anymore, it doesn't matter what their fucking plans were. Contract null and void if there's no parties on either side anymore, isn't there? And I'm just saying, maybe it doesn't have to come to that, but if it does...
what it does to communities. So I always appreciate reporters that are willing to highlight this because it is a very negative thing that is being normalized now. It's just like
right, but that's not where it ends. It's like we had a fleeting moment on the news where people were like, "Oh, that's rotten." No, that should be where it starts. The spark, the inspiration for people to do what they're supposed to do and protect their fellow neighbors in their community through hell or high water. And that's that. No, there's no excuse for not doing that. Everybody together means nobody individually will be targeted. Everybody together means it's the people, it's the movement of the force of mankind saying, fuck you, we've had enough. And you're protecting your own.
Suck it up and deal with it type of thing. And these fucking monsters are so emboldened that they will just...
Because people aren't getting up and putting fucking steel, or if you're talking about the actual thing, or, Pen to paper? No, lead to head, basically.
Loud say that if you are against data centers, that you're the problem. I already covered this, but the BlackRock CEO, that fucking goober, man, was really loosey-goosey with domestic terrorism in regards to people against AI data centers, by the way, expecting like fucking drone strikes and stuff from civilians against data centers. So they were coming up with like counter-terrorism ideas to protect data centers.
Well, think about this for a second. If he was that worried, that should worry you as to what exactly is going to happen when the data centers are there. Do you understand? If Larry Fink is already planning for the obviously scared, paranoid, schizophrenic fucking Jews in the first place, because they know what they have in store for you. They know what they have intended for you. They know what the data center is really going to be used for, a slaughterhouse for the white man. They know what it's going to be used for. It's going to be fucking the hostel where they can take their time having fun, murdering you and playing in your guts, raping your children in front of you and then chopping into pieces and making you watch. That's what they're going to be doing. So, you know, they have to have their security action plan in order to be condemning us for doing something before we do it. If we ever did it, because we probably won't. This is what I'm saying. That I can say this all day long, that you protect your community no matter what, and then that starts the snowball to make sure that everybody realizes that they have the power and they can make this fucking shit stop whenever the hell they want. At the very top of all this, there's a bunch of geriatric demons and sodomites. They're scared, frightened little bitches. I don't care how many tough guys with fucking tactical gear and, you know, military uniforms they have in between us and all their. What you should be more concerned about is what happens when they're online with all of their bullshit automation, drones, whatever, robot dogs, anything that is not a living being that you can take off and say, score one for our side. They've taken casualties. If they're just generating the shit out of a fucking conveyor belt, out of an assembly line, you're not putting a dent in them. They're just killing you off, and that's when the game's already done. You're already in checkmate. You really want to stop this? And they're trying to throw a race war in front of us, in front of our faces, like a retard to blindside us. No, aim for the parasite. Aim for the fucking parasite. Understand, and I've got something for you coming up here that I think should help bring that idea home.
The menace of normal people being outraged that data centers came in and butt fucked them. It's just like they're just being so brazen with it.
If my house is there and I'm living in there, and you come around and tell me you have to sell and move, somebody's not leaving that porch or whatever the hell it may be, that front lawn, and it's not going to be me at first. It's going to be whoever came up to tell me that.
It sucks. I know I've yapped about it a lot. I'm going to keep yapping about it because
if your neighbors don't respond in kind and back you up for that, they're pieces of shit.
Control. It is a terrible thing. I feel terrible for this family. I doubt they get an apology from Georgia.
And I don't mean back you up with encouragement. I mean back you up as in like they've got your six.
Power or the AI data center top brass or anything. At best, maybe they get like a really hollow, sorry, bub. And that's it. Or maybe they even get like a little gift basket, a little goodie bag, maybe a Jelly of the Month club subscription or something. Who really knows? But it won't be anything meaningful at all. And nothing's gonna, have this come to Jesus moment for Georgia Power or anything. It's just fucked. It's just so degenerate. And I hate it. So yeah, I want to yap about it. That's really about it. So yeah.
41 million. That's what he's made. Well, it's probably more than that since then. That was 9 months ago. The man does all right for himself. That's what he talks about, I think, in this one. I just kind of skimmed through it, but he shows the progression. So, This was his first year. I think this is just, I think, on Twitch or whatever. Then you see that. Then you see that. Is that the right one? 35,870,000, and then I think there's another one that says like 41. So this is what he was saying. He's turning off memberships, turning off super chats and gifts, and short feed. Well, it keeps short feed ads, so that's part of the thing. But he was shutting these things off, which was $1 million cumulatively over the last 10 years or whatever. That he was going to shut off and tell people to keep their money. They're better off using it on themselves because he's doing fine. He doesn't need their money. And I thought that was cool of him to do that. Very cool. Now there was okay, yeah, here is this. I need to scroll up though to get to the one. Our friend's gonna lay it out for us. If I can find him. Where's our boy? Not that one. Jesus, I gotta scroll all the way back down again. You gotta be black. Yeah, that's not good. We'll talk about that one for sure. But we gotta get to our Asian friend. Where's the worst fly fisher? Where is he at? That had to be today. There he is. This is a good one. This is a really good one. Pay close attention. I think this is the one. Nice try, Masad. Again, the shirt. The hat. I want that. He probably made that. It's a Bass Pro Shop hat with a Bass Pro Shop bass on it. Anyway,
here's a juke. Who hates crosses and garlic?
This is great. You guys, we should play this fucking twice. I'll be back in a moment though. I just heard my daughter come home.
Count Juracula.
Juracula.
No, just kidding. It's the jukers because garlic makes them more vulnerable to the sun. And since they had the #2 skin cancer rate in the world in 2001, in Israel, because they're not actually Jews. I see many people.
Well, who cares if they're Jews? I hate when people do that.
Jesus was Jewish.
But they're not actually Jews. Okay, who cares? Who cares? It's as if if they were real Jews, that they'd be good people. They're not. They're pieces of shit still. They're still pieces of shit. My God. They're the cult trying to give themselves a polished backstory, and they couldn't even do that correctly because they're such degenerates and have absolutely no concept of right and wrong. And nothing that guides them in that type of thought process, so that they created heroes and characters in their bullshit book in the Hellenistic period that they wrote, or in their scrolls and whatever that made up the Tanakh, aka the Old Testament. It was all a bunch of degenerate assholes that wait, these are God's chosen people? Give me a fucking break. Yeah, Satan's chosen people for sure.
Considering that rabbinical Judaism was created after the New Testament.
Exactly. It was a response to motherfuckers.
I think that's
and that's the other thing too. Oh, are you Jewish, ethnically Jewish? Well, how's that an ethnicity if it popped out of nowhere 2,000 years ago? How's it a fucking ethnicity? Ashkenazi Turk, maybe, sure. Which would kind of make sense with the whole Arab nose that they have. And the Sephardic. It sounds like that could be a clustered type of ethnic clustering there that would be similar across a lot of people. But to be Jewish, you just have to be part of the cult, honestly. And if your mama was part of the cult, then you're half cult. But they don't do that with Catholicism. Like your dad was a Protestant, but your mom was a Catholic. So you're 50% Catholic. No one does that. It's like, man, I'm a quarter Catholic. Nobody fucking says that. It's just whatever makes it easier for them to hide behind a shield. That's what Jew is. Jew is this today. Today the Jew is this. Oh wait, now we're white. Oh wait, now we're Jews. Fucking assholes.
It's pretty impossible. Judean? Maybe. These people never understood the true translations because they never read the original Koine Greek and were brainwashed by the Bolsheviks, the Schofield Bible, and the Evangelicals. Here's a good example of a mistranslation. Diabolos. American Bibles, it means the devil. But it doesn't mean the devil. It means the slanderer, the false accuser, one who maligns another. This is why you always read the Koine Greek. I like to call them jukers. But check out these verses.
The Jews or the Diabolos. That's what they were talking about. They're the devil. So now we can kill them.
They're completely different when you use jukers.
Because the juker has come down in great wrath. Yep.
Starting to get it? Now, my favorite is Ephesians 6:12. Put on the full panoply of God so that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the juker. For our wrestling is not against blood and flesh, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the worldly rulers of this darkness and the spiritual forces in this world. Who were these slanderers, the false accusers, the maligners? Darvo, blaming others for what they do. For example, stealing their Ukrainian guns and murdering 60 million Christians. Holodomor, then gassing them using their gas trucks. And then blaming Hitler for gassing them. Darvo, Gulag was the real concentration camps, not the concentration camps with the pools, the bands, and the musicians, and the hospitals.
Damn.
Darvo, Hitler.
Oh, fuck. Okay, I think we had the whole thing, though.
Here's a juke.
God damn it. Why aren't they letting me download it? Usually I can download these things just fine. What the fuck happened there? Maybe you put a fucking son of a bitch. Hold on, I'm gonna try to download this one. This one's really good. Paste. Fuck you. Can't find it still. Yeah. Useless. Useless piece of shit.
The average human being is going to see between 5 to 7 critical incidents in a lifetime. That means 5
Boo-hoo.
to 7 times they're going to see a fatal car accident, a dead body, but your average first responder over a 25-year career is going to see between...
Then be a housewife. Or do something else. Be a fucking teacher or something. I don't think you should be teachers either, though. Do something that doesn't upset me.
500 to 600.
I've seen this trend going around, and I want to thank you guys for putting it up there, because I got to tell you, number one, you're not fucking special. This is literally what you signed up for. You signed up to see the trauma and the shootings and the stabbings and the dead bodies. You literally signed up for it, and then you're going to act like, I'm special because I saw this. I saw my first head exploded. The guy's head was like a can of Popeye, spinach when Popeye squeezes it. I saw his spinal cord through the top of his head and brains all over. Brad B, 2001. I've seen dead children. There was the dead kid, the 5-month-old infant that I did CPR on that was ice cold and stiff as a board, but I thought the dad was going to murder me if I didn't actually just do minor chest compressions on that shit. That was freaky. Other dead children. There was the woman who lived on Mary Court, who she jumped in front of a freight train, and when we saw her mangled, twisted body and then had to tell her husband about it, that was a fun one. There was everything, the car accidents, the stabbings, all that. But it wasn't until October 31st, 2004, that my sergeant at the time, Gil Rivera, actually smartened me the fuck up by telling me that this is not about me. It's never about me. We went to a call on Halloween of a boy, 5-year-old boy named Christian Lozada, and he was crushed to death by an industrial piece of landscape equipment, a door that housed like really big lawnmowers and whatnot, fell and crushed him. And when we pulled up on scene, saw about 20 or 30 people surrounded by his mother, and the mother was moaning and wailing, and there is nothing more traumatic than the sound of a mother in pain who is holding and cradling her bloodied 5-year-old dead child. And after we got done with it and process and all that shit, Gil told me, I wonder how much longer their marriage is going to last now, knowing that they will silently and maybe vocally blame one another, the husband and the wife, for their child's death. It's not about cops. It's not about you. Every time you do shit like this and you make it about you, you're making it numbers, right? Those people you're talking about are another fucking number online. You may have seen the traumatic event, but they lived it. I don't know if that couple that I did CPR to the dead, cold 5-month-old, if they're still married. I don't know if they had another child after that. I don't know if Christian's parents are still married. I don't know if Brad's parents and family have ever gotten over that. I do know those cops, we love to capitalize off of it. Oh, poor me, poor me, poor me, only to go bragging in the comment section to one another about what makes you more qualified as a police officer because you've seen X, Y, and Z. Oh, and I've seen this. Don't make it about you. Don't turn someone else's tragedy into your content for social media simply because you signed up for it in the first place and now you're making a deal out of it when it should be about them, never about you.
The average human...
Mm-hmm. Especially if you're an ugly cunt like that. Man. Let's throw this down. I'm gonna go see Z-Delta. So she can ignore me. Shut it. No. Turn the 15 times I had to press the fucking button, I swear.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. Welcome to today's episode of How Europe is Ruining Privacy for Over 400 Million People. I'm your host, Louis Rossman. A few years ago, I did this video titled EU Commissioner Thinks You Can Sniff Encrypted Communications Like a Dog at the Airport. Dear EU, this law is very dumb. This video is over 3 years old, and it looks like they've been able to push a small version of this through via some emergency crap. What chat control is, to be very simple, is chat control the idea that we are going to try and make sure that you are not looking at child porn or child abusive content by having a system that scans for it. Now, the problem for this is that this requires scanning every single person's messages all the time in order to see what you're talking about, even if you're not actually talking about anything that's related to CSAM. So in order to tell if what you're doing is bad, they have to be looking at what it is that you're doing all the time, which means that you don't have any idea of privacy. And they're trying to push this through with services that are fully end-to-end encrypted. So you have services like Signal Messenger or WhatsApp, where the idea is that it's end-to-end encrypted, meaning that from the time that I send my message to the time it gets to you, it is completely scrambled in a way where unless you have a quantum computer or something like that, you're not going to be able to get access to the messages, which is great. It gives you privacy. If your ISP is spying on you, they're not going to be able to see what you're doing. If somebody tries to get in the way, like the way that that program is made, even if Brian Acton wanted to be able to read all of your messages with his billions of dollars, he's not able to do that because the way that the application has been designed from the bottom up, and it's open source so you can review it for yourself, they have no access to whatever it is you're saying. And she has said things like this. It's like sniffing. Checking out, you could say. It's not as if you read the communication. I mean, it's like a police dog being able to smell if there's something there. That's not how this works. Because encrypted communication is scanned today by the companies, they scan all communications for viruses. So if you're on Signal and you want to send me a link to an interesting Svenska article, when you start typing the address of the article, a picture of the article pops up because they're scanning it. My apologies if I mispronounced the newspaper. I'm not... I speak English and broken English, and that's about it. Somebody corrects her live. That's not even how Signal works. The way Signal works is that if you get a preview, it's because your Signal client from your device is taking a picture of the website and including it in the message that's being sent. Signal has no access to this information. The link preview is going to be built on your device. It's literally the exact opposite of what she's suggesting. And it demonstrates that she has absolutely no idea how encryption works whatsoever. So it's not even that she's against you ideologically and that she doesn't believe that you should have the right to privacy, the people that are architecting this garbage law. It's that they don't even understand how the technologies that they're seeking to regulate works. And this is very similar to what California was doing with 3D printing, where they believe that they can stop you from 3D printing parts to a gun, in spite of the fact that the parts to a gun look identical to the parts that go to a flashlight or a camera mount or a price scanner or anything else. It's one of these cases where it's not even just that they're ideologically against you. They also fundamentally have no understanding of how the technology works. Not only that, but as I went over in my original video, Swiss police have measured an error rate around 80 to 90%, and that is on already known material. So when we're trying to detect whether or not what you are saying or doing is a direct copy of known child porn, they still have no idea. Their detection algorithms are so fucking bad that it is wrong 80 to 90% of the time on material where they already have a perfect reference of it. Can you imagine when they're trying to detect new material, how bad this is going to be? Now, this has already been rejected several times. There's 2 chat controls, and one of them was already voted down in March of 2026. I'm going to get into what the separate chat controls are shortly. This came in through a back door after it was voted down in March of 2026. The president of the European Parliament and the person who runs it, Roberto Metsola, reopened the file in late June 2026 and sent it to the council, which sent it back to Parliament right at the start of the summer holiday. Well, half their members are gone, and it's hard to get a majority to kill it again. So here's how they managed to get it to pass. On July 9, 2026, more members voted to reject it than to keep it. 314 to reject, 276 to keep, 17 abstains. But the rules say that you need an absolute majority of all seats, 360 votes to actually block it. 314 people is a majority of the people in the room, but not 360. So the rejection failed, and it passed anyway. It now stays in force until April 3rd, 2028. Is Europe supposed to be less corrupt than America? I don't understand. Patrick Breyer, the German former member of European Parliament who has led the fight against chat control for years, called it a farce that damages democracy. Sven Johann, my apologies again if I mispronounce your name, a current German member of the European Parliament, said that it's a disgrace that the chat control instrument has passed and that opens the door to mass surveillance of all private communication of our European citizens. And you have to keep in mind that this is actually the light version. This is not even the horrible version, which they're going to be pushing through later. So what is the difference between chat control number 1 and chat control number 2? Chat control number 1 is a temporary and voluntary thing. So right now, the EU has a very strong privacy law, which is now, in my opinion, completely useless. It's called GDPR. So if I'm spying on all the messages that my customers are sending, that is just very, very bad. You can't do that in the EU. So what Chat Control 1.0 does is it allows all of that to be legal. You can scan the unencrypted stuff, and again, it just literally just takes the GDPR and just fucking throws it out the window when it comes to messaging applications. Chat Control 2, which is the final proposed one, it actually requires that you scan everything inside of encrypted apps. And there's no way to do that. You can't do that with end-to-end. There is no fucking sniffing like a dog at the airport. That's not how this shit works. And encrypted text is not a smell. It's not an odor. That's not how any of this works. There's only 2 ways to do this. Number 1, break end-to-end encryption, which means like that doesn't work. Or number 2, you could have something called client-side scanning, which means that the application is going to read your message to figure out if it thinks there's child porn in there before it sends your message. That completely fucking defeats the purpose of actually having encrypted communications. The entire point of encrypted communications is that you're not reading my shit. But if you're going to make it so that the application is reading my shit and trying to figure out whether it's child porn or not before I send it, you're reading my shit. Like, it's useless. I know this is probably just because I haven't had lunch yet, but I remember there was this episode of Third Rock Around the Sun, and Tommy, he wants to
From the sun.
have sex with his girlfriend for the first time, and he's a virgin, and he wants her to have a really good time. And he wants to make sure she has a really good time. And the whole premise of the show is that aliens come to Earth in human bodies and they do stupid shit because they don't understand our earthly customs and culture. So he's trying to think to himself, and he really wants to be the best boyfriend possible. How can I make sure that my girlfriend has the best possible time when we have sex for the first time? So he tries having sex with other people as often as humanly possible so that he can be experienced before he actually has sex with his girlfriend. And he tells her about it because he thinks that she's just going to be so excited at how considerate he was of her. It's like, that defeats the fucking purpose. Having your messaging app read all your messages and scan it to figure out if it thinks you're saying something that's bad, and then reporting you to the police based on whether it thinks you did something bad, it completely defeats the purpose of end-to-end encryption. The entire point of end-to-end encrypted communications is I don't want other people reading my shit. I want privacy. So Chat Control 1 is not the worst thing in the world. I think Chat Control 1 just kind of brings you back to the meme of American privacy, which kind of like, again, just kind of does away with a lot of the whole EU is good for privacy stuff to begin with. And then Chat Control 2 is what would actually make the EU worse than most Western countries when it comes to privacy, because now you would be mandating that end-to-end encryption breaks. That said, I talked about this here, and there's about 2 or 3 other videos I did on it, and it unfortunately didn't really make much of a difference. And it just kind of demonstrates that there's something that the EU has in common with the United States, whereas if bad people want something bad enough, they're going to use legislators that don't know any better to just kind of jam it through anyway. Like when you hear every town talking about, think of the children, that's why your 3D printer needs to be able to report everything you do to the government. Think of the children.
Something else I'm getting tired of is all this stupid bullshit we have to listen to all the time about children. It's all you hear in this country. Children, help the children. What about the children? Save the children. You know what I say? Fuck the children. Fuck them.
The most depressing part about this for me is that I've actually visited Europe a few times this year, and I'm going to be visiting a few times later, because every now and then I just have this like Euro-curious part of my brain that's, you know, my entire country is getting surrounded by flock cameras. I feel like I'm losing the battle against mass surveillance and that type of thing in my own country. And I'm looking at other areas that may be interesting to live in, you know, I'm just curious. And then this shit comes out. It's like, where do you go? This may sound a little ignorant, but I really do resent the EU for this, because I do blame the EU for making the internet much more annoying to me. So with GDPR, every single website has this annoying fucking cookie pop-up now asking if I want to decline third-party cookies and everything like that. And the reason that this really annoys me is that web browsers back to, I remember Mozilla 1.0.1, when I was using that shit in 2002, it used to have an option in the menu where I could block third-party cookies. But more importantly, before a website set a cookie, it used to allow me, with a dialog box, it would ask, do you want to allow cookies from like ads.yahoo.com? And I may allow the cookies from mail.yahoo.com, but reject the ones from ads.yahoo.com. And it would have a little dialog box. It wasn't the same as this one. I'm not able to find the exact dialog box because this is over 20-year-old software, but it used to have like a little checkbox that remember this for the next time. And it was very easy to use. I could use tab on my keyboard. I always knew where the dialog box was, so I had perfect muscle memory to be able to block third-party cookies. And once I did the blocking of the third-party cookie once, it never asked me again because my browser remembered my preference. And then after GDPR came out, instead of just having a nice little dialog box that is uniform and exactly where the buttons are, exactly where the options are, every fucking website has a different cookie box with the buttons in different areas. And if I've already cleared my browser cookies in history, it's going to ask me again when I go to that website again, which is very fucking annoying when I already had this functionality built into my web browser as far back as 2002. But I always kind of weighed this back and forth with, okay, they made the internet way more annoying on all these websites that I go to. I fucking hate these cookie spam notices. I'm never going to put them on my website. And if the king of the EU wants to come to my house, like, come at me, bro. I'm not doing that. I find those cookie spam notices very annoying. But at the very least, they added a lot of privacy to the modern internet. The GDPR does have some provisions in it that I think are good, that stop companies from being able to spy on you. So I always kind of weighed this, like, you made the internet more annoying by making a more annoying framework for what it is that I already had. But you've made the internet so much more private, so I forgive you. And now, not only is the EU getting rid of all of that stuff, but if Chat Control 2 passes, and again, if they already pass 1, passing 2 is going to be easier, you actually have less privacy in the EU than you do in the United States. If Chat Control version 2 passes in the EU, there is no way that Signal can have a presence in the EU. How the fuck is it that the EU is at the point of having less consumer protection than the United States? Like, it's like you're going to wind up having the worst of both worlds. I mean, it just, why? Explain it to me. It's so dumb. It's so frustrating. I feel bad for you. And sometimes when you guys watch what I say about America, you guys probably feel bad for me. I'm not going to say that my country doesn't have any problems. It's got a lot. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something.
Yep. Just when you gotta be quick with those. All right, this day in history. Still the 16th. This is hilarious how it starts. Muhammad flees Mecca, the Great Schism, and Latin lover. All right, 622. Islamic era begins. Hooray! Muhammad and his followers begin migration from Mecca to Medina. 1054. The Great Schism between Western and Eastern churches begins when Roman Cardinal Humbert issues a bull of excommunication against Cyrillarius, Patriarch of Constantinople, on the altar of Hagia Sophia in Constantinople. The Protestant Reformation. In 1519, public debate between Martin Luther. Remember, 1517 was the 95 Thesis. It was on October 31st. And in 1519, public debate between Martin Luther and theologian Johann Eck at Pleisenberg Castle in Leipzig, during which Luther denies the divine right of the Pope. 1809, La Paz, Bolivia, declares its independence from the Spanish crown and forms the Junta, Tuitiva, led by Pedro Domingo Murillo, the first independent government in Spanish America. 1940, Adolf Hitler orders preparations for the invasion of Britain, Operation Sea Lion. Manhattan Project. In 1945, July 16th, 1945, first test detonation of an atomic bomb occurs at Trinity Site, Alamo Gordo, which means Fat Alamo, apparently. New Mexico, as part of the U.S. Manhattan Project. Today in film, 2017, BBC announces that they're doing some bullshit and have the first ever female doctor in Doctor Who. Will be played by, who cares? 1782, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's opera Die Entführung aus dem Serial, or The Abduction from the Serialo, premieres in Vienna with Mozart conducting. Don't care about Wimbledon. Famous birthdays. People. Orville Redenbacher. Celebrity birthdays. Michael Flatley's River Dance. Will Ferrell. Some other people. Fun fact about today. Kissing is banned in England to stop the spread of the Black Death. 1439. Famous deaths. Apparently, John F. Kennedy Jr. and George Romero both died on the same day, and so did Mary Todd Lincoln. Valentino. Rudolph. The first screen sex symbol. He became known as the Latin Lover, Hollywood's first silent screen sex symbol, adored by women across the world, but fate would be cruel to Rudolph Valentino. Didn't live very long. And then it just says famous Americans, and it doesn't really specify what the hell their connection to this day is. And that's that. That's that for that. There. Now I gotta go. Oh, wait. No, that started me at the bell. No, it didn't. We went through a lot trying to get to the Juker. Saw it.
This is absolutely one of my favorite things to do in sparring, and to demonstrate it, this lovely human has agreed to help me.
I'm already regretting this.
I agree. Are you ready? Are you ready? Go. When someone steps forward to punch you in the face, all their body weight is also coming forward. And when they put all their weight on their front foot, the rest of the body can be rather unstable. So if you can time it well enough, while leaning out of the danger zone, you can connect with the inside of their lead foot and shift their body weight unconsensually. And honestly, even if they do manage to punch you in the face, all the punch's power and force don't land at the exact same time. As it makes connection with my face, the more she drives in, the more it sucks. So even if she manages to make that initial connection, but in the process, I move that foot out of the way, a lot of that power just kind of dissipates. Thank you for your service. Do you have anything to say to the audience?
No.
Goodbye. And thus you have saved yourself from a potential bloody or broken nose, all while making them look silly and like they've never walked a day in their life.
People ask me all the time, especially after one of my more serious videos, hey, you got a degree in psychology? Or they'll ask, what qualifies you to say these things? Well, the first thing that qualifies me is I'm a human being with a functioning brain. I have thoughts. I have opinions. I observe people. I make connections. That's called living. You don't need a framed piece of paper on the wall to think critically or notice patterns in human behavior. Now, if you're asking whether...
Yeah, and a lot of those people who have those papers can't think critically. They don't have any discernment, and they sure have no... They have very shallow comprehension level. Very, very shallow. It skims right across the top like a skipping a stone.
I'm claiming to be a licensed psychologist or therapist. Hell no, absolutely not. I ain't diagnosing a damn thing or treating anybody or pretending to be an authority on anybody's mental health. I'm sharing observations, experiences, and conclusions that I've reached after watching people and being a person for a really long time. That being said, psychology was actually my major in college before I changed directions. I took a lot of psychology courses because I genuinely found the subject fascinating. I wanted to understand why people do what they...
I love it. Whatever the hell the city is. Pietra Dryer. So Will said. Yeah, very good. Yeah, yours wasn't as well. You only had 3 words to go with, bro. And you made a mistake in the middle. So Will said. Jesus Christ.
do, why they sabotage themselves, why relationships succeed or fail, why common sense sometimes seems to take an extended vacation. Then life got practical. The company I worked for offered tuition reimbursement, but they had one condition. Your degree had to benefit the business. And apparently understanding why Bob from accounting loses his mind every Tuesday didn't quite qualify. So I switched to an MBA program because that's what they would pay for. So no, I don't have a psychology degree hanging on my wall. What I do have is years of studying people, reading, listening, making mistakes, surviving bad decisions and learning from good ones and paying attention. Experience isn't a replacement for expertise, but neither is a diploma a replacement for wisdom. There are brilliant people with degrees who give terrible advice. There's ordinary people who've lived enough life to recognize truth when they see it. You're welcome to disagree with me. In fact, I expect you to. But dismissing an idea simply because of the person saying it instead of evaluating the idea is lazy thinking.
It's fucking stupid.
Don't ask who said
it's
it.
Fucking stupid.
Ask, is this true? Because a good idea doesn't become false because it came from someone without letters after their name. And a bad idea doesn't become true just because it came from someone who has those letters. Just saying. It ain't that hard. People ask...
No, apart from, validating psychiatry there, everything else is good.
Hey, kid! What are you doing? Hanging out with black people. Where are your parents? They're dead. Oh, hi there. My name's Trevor Moore. I'm the actor who played Scotty in that last video. Now, you're all probably wondering how we managed to pull that sketch off. And the answer lies in good old-fashioned Hollywood magic. Through new amazing technology, I was filmed in front of a blue screen, while the black actor was filmed elsewhere. Then my image was put together with the black person's image later in post-production. That's right. Due to modern miracles, I was able to record that sketch safely on a secured soundstage, while the black actors were actually filmed many miles away. I was never in harm's way for a moment. Isn't technology wonderful?
Oh, that's great. The middle class was a 50-year fluke designed to prevent a communist revolution. Do you not know who owns this? Shut up, my God. This is coming from someone who obviously doesn't understand what Stalin was and what we created by funding the Bolshevik Revolution. And then fighting on his side again in a war for the Jews. Come on, man. Oh, but it was to stop the spread of communism. That Cold War was totally legitimate. You got it. Now that the threat is gone, now that the propaganda is stale and they have new plans, the elites are systematically dismantling it. You aren't falling behind. You're being pushed back into the peasantry. Well, at least that part's correct. Fucking idiot.
All right. See, now this is why you don't walk up and start fights with people that you don't know. Because you might roll up on somebody whose dad has had him on the trip. I mean, look at the footwork, man. I mean, I know most of y'all don't understand why this is important, but you don't fight in a static environment. Like him being able to do this and bob and weave and hit these targets while his feet are still moving backwards. Wrong kid to roll up on and start throwing with, man. I'm telling you, this kid is going to be knocking people out.
Yeah, his Instagram page, I follow on a different Instagram account. He goes through all kinds of drills. I've got a bunch of boxing stuff on that one that I watch. Well, when I'm hardly ever on that Instagram account though, but I was following those ones.
I learned how to utilize this idea fairly recently in effective combat, and by golly gee willikers did it change up my game entirely. I have preached for years to get off the center line when you punch something. The center line is the line between your eyeballs and their eyeballs, and if you both stay there when you hit each other, you both get jawed. But if you, as a hyper-intelligent carbon-based life form, just step slightly to the side, you can avoid that TBI while still giving them one of their own. And in fact, a combo I love using now that I include this concept into my fighting is to step off that center line, throw that punch while I get slightly shorter than before, turning back, and sending a second one with the opposite hand. First of all, 2 punches are always better than 1, but there's also just a really high chance they won't see the second one coming. This one doesn't have to hurt. It just has to remove their eyeballs from the situation for a short period of time, giving you ample opportunity to really wind up and let that artillery piece go and drop that metaphorical bomb on them.
This could potentially overtake us here. This is getting a little scary.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Okay. Yeah, this is...
Okay, y'all need to hurry up here. Like, seriously, we're encased in flames now.
You guys gotta go backwards. Go.
This looks like Lahaina.
Hello, Jody, can you hear us?
Pasadena one of those days.
This could potentially overtake us here. This is getting a little scary.
Yeah.
I was driving through Pasadena at one time and basically choking on ash when I got out of the vehicle. It was coming down like rain, all the ash. That was, and oddly enough, it was on September 11th.
All right, folks, check out this absolute unit. Skin-tight yellow shirt, painted on jeans, cowboy boots, and yes, he is open carrying cross-straw like he's the main character in a budget western. Here he comes, pops open a box like it's Christmas morning, pulls out the scope and casually stashes it like he's hiding Easter eggs. Associate walks up, polite as hell. Sir, you need any help? Our boy immediately throws his buddy under the bus. Nah, go help my friend over there. Turns back, boom, yellow shirt, stuffs the scope straight into the bag while the eye in the sky records in HD. He turns the corner and immediately gets painted by another employee. He whips around like he just heard his mom call his government name and another staffer starts walking up. He panics, signals his buddy it's time to go. Spins back to the aisle. Manager rolls up, grabs a random box
Wait, how does the usual suspects work here? That guy, does that, you're saying that he's an Israeli? Or a Jew? Is that what you're saying? Like, well, how is he's definitely the wrong color for if you're saying he's black. Where's the usual suspects? How does that apply here?
Yes, officer. I'm just a legitimate optics enthusiast.
He says cross draw. Wow, what a fag.
And the showdown starts.
Yeah, he has a facing outward, so you have to go like that. Yeah, that is pretty gay. Just
pulls the scope out of the bag.
Look at that! Look at that!
Yes.
Yeah, look at this!
Guy hits him with the classic, "Oh, that must have been there already. We literally watched you stuff it in, bro." And just like that, yellow shirt sprints down the ramp to his mommy like he just sharted his pants and needs to find a bathroom. This dude, 0% operator. All right, folks, check out this.
You know, giving you energy is just one of the 8 ways that Wonder Bread helps you grow up sound and healthy. Yes, sir, Wonder Bread helps build strong bodies 8 ways.
all right, guys, forget about the 90 essential nutrients. We just need Wonder Bread. I'm joking.
Kids, to grow up good and strong, you ask Mom to get Wonder Bread. And you'll want to eat lots of Wonder Bread with every meal because it tastes so fresh and good. And now, kids, I'm going to fly away in my Wonder Balloon. But remember, kids, to look for the balloons printed on the Wonder Bread wrapper. Then, when you see those red, yellow, and blue balloons, you'll know it's wonderful Wonder Bread! Ho-ho!
That aired in 1956. The man holding the bread is Buffalo Bob Smith.
Buffalo Bill?
And that is Howdy Doody. And this show was NBC's first daily children's program. At 2,343 episodes, It defined American childhood television. The children are sitting in the peanut gallery, the live studio audience for the show.
Because they were all injected with peanut oil when they're vaccines, so that's why they were the peanut gallery.
The waiting list to get in was so long, the parents wrote years ahead, hoping to get their child a seat. But what did corporations do with that trust? Well, Buffalo Bob Smith held up a loaf of Wonder Bread on national television and told kids it would help them grow. By 1956, Wonder Bread had been stripped of most of its fiber and many of its vitamins and minerals through industrial milling.
Her voice.
It had a handful of synthetic vitamins and iron added back to meet a federal enrichment rule and was sold to American families as growth food. The most trusted face in children's television was selling one of the least nourishing breads industry ever made. Wonder Bread was one of the Howdy Doody show's primary sponsors, so the ads weren't shown between segments. The host regularly pitched the products live inside the show as part of the story. The children in the peanut gallery didn't know they were watching commercials, and neither did the kids at home. I want to be clear. This isn't just a story about Wonder Bread. This is the template the food industry would use again and
so enriched is Enrique? Enriquecito? Wow, that's funny. Enrique!
again for the next 70 years. A trusted host, a children's audience, a processed product, and a claim about growth.
And a creepy clown.
Wonder Bread proved it worked, and everyone else copied the play. You're still seeing this pattern today. The names and platforms have changed.
She is kind of hideous, and her voice inflection is upsetting.
The script did not.
You know,
Good, it's over. Oh, here's our buddy, Smayev.
Bro's gonna be Hulk. I hate to break it to you, but I think he's already reached that level. This is Andrei Smayev. He is 27 years old, 6'2", 352 pounds, and can do a freaking front lever. He can also bench press 290 kilograms for reps. That is 638 pounds. He's not even a power lifter. You guys realize bench pressing anything over 600 pounds is nearly impossible. Most elite powerlifters will never bench press over 600 pounds. Andrei Smayev does it for fun. He doesn't work out for any kind of competitions. He legitimately just enjoys working out. Not only is he great at calisthenics,
Look at
beyond
that shit.
strong, he's also incredibly athletic. Look at him jumping. Someone who weighs over 350 pounds should not be able to move the way Andrei Smayev moves, and yet here he is, jumping gracefully. To think that
Like the
Andrei
Hulk.
Smayev is improving almost every month is crazy. At this rate, he might eventually catch up to Dylan Snyder. Bro's gonna be Hulk.
Jesus.
When you're little,
They
you
said if you have goals, you're going to have to go raise them now.
think the reason Adam ate the apple was because Eve convinced
We all know how I feel about this bullshit story, but this is actually a pretty funny, pretty hilarious take on it.
him. But after you've been married, you realize that the reason Adam ate the apple was so that Eve would just shut the up and stop talking about it. Like Adam ate the apple probably hoping that he would die and get some peace and quiet. And you know afterwards, Eve didn't even feel bad that she brought death and destruction into the world.
Oh,
If anything,
fuck.
she was just happy that there was some drama going on.
See what happens? We're going to do this again because fuck that. You're not going to stop us. I'm just clicking on load more and it fucking failed. Dude, Instagram is such a piece on this PC. It's a piece on your phone though, too, let's be honest.
The reason Adam ate the apple was because Eve convinced him. But after you've been married, you realize that the reason Adam ate the apple was so that Eve would just shut the up and stop talking about it. Like Adam ate the apple probably hoping that he would die and get some peace and quiet. And you know afterwards, Eve didn't even feel bad that she brought death and destruction into the world. If anything, she was just happy that there was some drama going on. And that's how I know that this story totally happened, because it never says that Eve apologized for destroying the world. Like I totally believe that there was a talking snake, a magic tree, and that God made Adam from dust. But if at the end of the story, the Bible said that Eve apologized and took accountability for her actions, I would be like, man, there's no way this shit ever happened. Now they're just making stuff up. I think the most unbelievable part of the story is seeing as how the snake didn't have a job and was a horrible person. Eve didn't just go ahead and cheat with him. I mean, Eve already invented sin. I'm surprised she didn't just go ahead and invent side bitching while she was at it. When you're little,
Depending on which story you read, kind of did. But that's again a bullshit story from top to bottom. So
Take 7. Nobody make me laugh. I can do this. I mean, don't do it. I can do this. In breaking news, a correctional officer from Florida has just been arrested for being found responsible for getting 13 different inmates at an all-women's correctional facility pregnant. And I bet you're wondering, now how did that happen? Because the warden himself was wondering, now how did that happen? Please allow me to introduce you to the Crimson Chin herself, Lena Hale. It's giving box of Wheaties. It's giving Pete Steele from Typo Negative. How did this happen? Do you need a diagram? I love to. The biggest insult that I tell people is I'm like, okay, Audrey Hale, like, you know, the Sunday school shooter. And this person's name is Lena Hale. So now I'm like, we've got two sisters in crime here. Be so for real right now. I am so sorry. Be so for real. We can't have our own sports teams. We can't have our own bathrooms. And now we can't even have our own prisons. Really? Take 7.
So I don't like the way she talks and stupid, goofy, like chopped up slang lingo, trendy bullshit. But that was actually pretty funny.
You got any shoes or anything on you?
Are you me, man?
I'm not.
This morning, a Florida husband and father is suing multiple law enforcement agencies after being wrongfully arrested, he says, due to a flawed AI facial recognition technology.
I don't wish this on my worst enemy.
Tell you what, man, I'm going to put you in the cuff in the front.
This is nuts.
Police body camera video obtained by our affiliate Gulf Coast News showing the 2024 arrest outside Robert Dillon's home.
I was basically telling them this is crazy. I have no idea.
Yeah.
It.
So listen, this is what I was thinking too, and this is what Delete Law's Chili thought too, which is 2 years ago we're talking an AI arrest. 2 fucking years ago, an AI arrest like that. Holy shit.
But it's not me.
Authorities were looking for a suspect who tried to lure a child at a restaurant in Jacksonville Beach, more than 300 miles away.
To be accused of a heinous crime of that nature, I'm thinking I may not be coming back home.
Investigators submitted surveillance images of the suspect into a facial recognition program, which revealed a 93% match of facial features to Dillon. But not only was Dillon incorrectly identified, he's never even been to Jacksonville Beach.
I argued with the police officer for 20 minutes, and he insisted.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They don't give a fuck.
I know that I'm looking at your mugshot.
Weeks after his arrest, the state attorney's office dropped the case, but it took nearly a year to wipe it from his record.
It's horrible that this AI is put in the hands of people that aren't qualified to use it.
We've reached out to all law enforcement agencies being sued by Dillon with the help of the ACLU. Only the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office responded. They're the ones who oversee the use of the technology. They said, in part, the assertion that PCSO failed to train is patently false. And they also said it was wrong for the Jacksonville Beach police officer to arrest someone based solely on facial recognition.
You got any shoes or anything on you?
Yeah, now they've come full circle 2 years later, and they're doing it and say AI is not wrong ever, just like they were doing just then.
Got your ID with you, sir.
I haven't committed any crime.
I've seen this full video before, and I like the civil rights lawyer.
We're out here for a call for service. We have to identify everybody.
Now I wish I had a camera.
This is a great illustration about why you should not talk with the police, why you shouldn't allow them on your property. Not that these cops care about your rights not to talk with them or to exclude them from your property. They can lie to you, they can gaslight you, and they do it because they want to put you in a cage and ruin your life.
Anytime we deal with a call that has to do with a gun, I'm going to take it off your side, okay?
No.
Yes.
Well, I mean, if that's what you're going to do, then I'm saying it's not okay as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, well, we're going to take it off your side.
Here, this guy was just minding his own business, mowing his
face.
field, and now he's surrounded by agents of his government interrogating him while holding...
Because his fucking neighbor. Because his cocksucking piece of shit neighbor doesn't like him and heard gunshots on his own property. Huge property. If the chickens go underneath the guy's truck, his own truck, right? His own chickens. And he fires safely a couple of times and gets the chickens out from underneath his truck. That was where this all started. And he started mowing his lawn. And his neighbor's is a male Karen cocksucker. And now he's dealing with this.
His own firearm against his will on his own property. He expresses that he wants to protect his Fourth Amendment rights.
No, actually, I don't have an ID on me, but I'm not going to ID. I'm not giving you my name and date of birth because there's been no crime.
But the female deputy responds that the Fourth Amendment at this point gets put aside.
I'll protect my Fourth Amendment.
The Fourth Amendment at this point gets put aside when, okay.
That's why I argue that it's a good idea for police officers to just use their own common sense a little bit before they escalate a situation where no underlying crime has been committed to an arrest for failure to ID.
You took me from my home for no crime, all because I wouldn't identify myself. Y'all really are addicted to ID, ain't you?
I mean, at this point, how does obtaining Zebulon's ID prove or disprove whether or not he fired a shot into the air? The neighbor said he didn't witness it. He assumed it. Zebulon gave his side of the story, and he said that he didn't do it. He shot into the ground. It's not like his identity is some mystery that needs to be solved. They know who he is. He's the guy who owns the property they're standing on. They just want that physical ID because it's like crack for police officers.
Agreed.
Today's lesson will be on cowardice versus fear. And if you get bored and want to scroll away, don't. Doing difficult things is good for you. Prove to yourself that you're capable of it now. Woo! Oh my god. I'm alive. Anyways, I received some messages the other day from a gentleman who believes that being afraid makes you a coward. Wrong. Fear is a natural, intelligent creature reaction developed in order to tell us when something is potentially dangerous and to watch out. We as people are incapable of stopping ourselves from feeling fear. For example, if someone is threatening to assault us, like the video that guy was referencing in the messages, and you look like this guy here, don't be alarmed. There's nothing wrong with that. Especially if you still protect yourself just like how that young man did. Now, cowardice is something entirely different because that is a choice. To be afraid of someone about to punch you in the face or attack you is completely natural, but to do absolutely nothing, shell up and pretend like they're not there, is cowardly. Now, if instead you feel that fear rise up in you and you just drop them like a sack of potatoes, you are anything but a coward, because you did not let your fear cripple you from protecting yourself. Today's lesson will be on cowardice.
Correct. Now let's go get some data center fuckers.
I don't think so, officer. NRS code says that if the street's
Oh,
blocked...
I think we already did this.
60! Them me lucky!
Oh, jeez, that's Jesus Christ, Matt Damon.
Skull and Bones. Accept or reject. Accept.
This movie is The Good Shepherd, where Matt Damon plays James Angleton, the second in command at the CIA when it was founded in the 40s. And here he is going through the initiation ritual of Skull and Bones, a real secret society in which George W. Bush, his father, Sr., and John Kerry, many other powerful individuals have been part of Skull and Bones, a satanic secret society in which they do an initiation wrestling around in feces. They get urinated on by their members, and then they have to lay down in a coffin, masturbating, telling their deepest, darkest secrets. A baptism of sin. They approached him after he wore the dress on stage because that is the first step in the humiliation ritual that these people go through to bond themselves to Satan. There is nothing nefarious Going on here, folks, there are no secret societies pulling...
You guys remember when Giuliani wore a dress for Trump? I made a video about it called Kind of a Drag. I played the song, Kind of a Drag. That song. The Trump administration just removed nearly all habitat protections for endangered species. The harm definition is gone. For 50 years, harm under the Endangered Species Act included habitat destruction. The harm addition saved the bald eagle, the California condor, and hundreds of other species. Now, extraction companies, developers, you know where this is headed? Data centers. And farmers can destroy, and the farmers, whoa, fuck you, whoever wrote that, you fucking cunt, can destroy the places the species call home. As long, maybe factory farmers can do that, but don't be fucking shitting on the farmers, you cunt. Can destroy the places and species call home as long as they don't directly kill or injure the animal. But destroying the habitat is a death sentence which can lead to extinction. This sounds like some... you know, they start off with a good premise and then they start becoming liberal, stupid, retarded cunts.
Coming to the end of the interview, do you have any questions for us? Yeah, I actually do have one question. You see, on the application for this job, you had me upload a resume, but then on a different part of the application, you had me type in all of my work experience. So I was just wondering, why the fuck did you make me do that? Excuse me? When I was filling out the online application for this job,
has everybody been there?
Upload a PDF
Everybody's
of
been
my
there.
resume, but then you also had me manually enter all of my work experience into your
Whenever I see that, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Is this a self-attest, like Resolve? Like, if you just ask me for all that information, are you anticipating that I don't know how to write a resume? I've told you all the pertinent information that's relevant to this job and of what experience I have that is pertaining to this. Oh, you want to know gaps? Those aren't gaps. You're right. They're not gaps. They're just, it's like, obviously before I had a 13-year-long self-employment, but prior to that, yeah, you're like, it's so fucking stupid. So dumb.
online portal. Like, I basically had to retype everything from my resume into your portal, so I'm asking, why'd you make me do that? Well, resumes are often formatted differently from each other, so the portal allows us to standardize the information we get from all candidates. Okay, but then why make me upload a resume too? Like, why not just make me type everything into the portal? Well, sometimes it's helpful to have 2 copies of the same information for clarity on our end. How would that be helpful? That's insane. How would that be helpful? That's insane. Why did you just say the exact same thing twice? Oh, because I thought you liked getting 2 exact copies of the same information. Okay, honestly, I'm not even really in charge of the online applications. I mostly just do the job interviews. Well, yeah, that's another thing. In this job interview, what did we talk about? Your work experience? Exactly. I told you about my work experience on my resume, then I told you again by retyping that exact same information into your online portal, then I told you again by coming in here in person and having this job interview. I mean, what's next? Write it out by hand? Carve it into a slab of granite? Skywriting? Do you have any more questions, or... Yeah, just one more. I'm not gonna get this job, am I? I can't see how you would. Coming to the end of the interview...
Squeeze ass. All right, Grandma. Get here.
There are people who ask for funny license plates, and then there's this nice lady. The state of Florida sent these tags to Nancy Delestrito, who is almost 77 and lives in a senior community in Pompano Beach. Here's her initial reaction.
Really? Really? No. GMB, no.
The plates read SQZ-A55 with a juicy Florida orange there in the middle. But some people, including Nancy and a lot of the older men in her neighborhood, think it spells out something else. I think you can guess.
There's people
At
laughing
first,
inside
she was
the
mad about
network.
I went ballistic. And I said, I can't even believe how this could pass through inspection. I assume there's an inspection.
The plates are legit, however, part of an automatic 10-year renewal stamped out at a state prison in North
They get a little lonely in those prisons.
Florida, and she can get them exchanged. But she's starting to come around to the idea of keeping them on her Hyundai Sonata.
I can handle it if I get a few honks here and there. Actually, being over 70, I might like a few honks. Okay?
Okay. Nancy told our friends at CBS Miami she's been asking people what they think. And by a wide margin, 26-1, they say...
Keep them.
Keep the plates and enjoy the laughs. There are people who ask for
how'd you get the inmate is like, how'd you get in here? Well, you know, just read it. That's how I got in here. Assault.
I was going to jail because I found an undercover operation that was going on in our town, and because the girl, it was just a regular girl, like a regular country girl, but she didn't have a Facebook. She said that her family got killed in a car accident, brothers and sisters and all this stuff, and she needed medication because she was in severe depression and all this stuff. She said she needed Xanax pills, and I was like, I don't know where you'd get Xanax pills, like an old time thing. And so I start messing with her, and I started looking for the recording mechanism. And every time I seen her, I would approach her and I would say stuff into the microphone, and I would call the other police. I would say that I knew that the police were like, they were homosexuals, and I would make up all these stories, but I'd be very serious because I thought that the people in the van, I imagine there was a van outside that had the recording device or something. And as long as you don't break any laws, you can't be in trouble.
Hey, whoever's using the staple gun or tack hammer in the background, they can stop while you're fucking recording.
So I was just not going to break any laws, but I kept on hinting that I was about to break one just to keep their attention. And I'm saying the prosecuting attorney's gay, and I know I have pictures of him with the dress on, and I just said all this stuff, just fucking with them. I just thought it was going to be funny. I thought that the people would get it and that it was going to be funny. And instead, they actually said that I gave them drugs. They said that. They just lied. And when I got into court, I was so like appalled, and I thought that the system was real. I thought that cops couldn't lie. I thought that cops, I was a kid.
No. That was the thing that they sold you. But that all ended around 1913-ish, right around there. Yeah.
I thought the cops couldn't lie. I thought they had to have evidence. I thought they had to have like pictures and cameras and recordings and all this.
What the fuck is happening in your house?
All say they saw it, and that's it. And they have fancy buttons, and they have all these little things, and you have to plea bargain. And they use something called leverage against you. So they keep trying to use different leverages, and they have all these rules where you're not allowed to talk in court. You can't just say, "Where's the evidence?" You can't talk.
Yeah, you got to one-side it. And the side that is doing the accusing gets to be the one that does all the talking.
Other people talk, and it gets very complicated. So I thought I was going to jail. I'm like, I'm going to jail. They can lie. They straight up lied, and it was very scary. But I mean, I got out of trouble. I didn't get into trouble. I had to do probation.
Dude, whatever that is, control your woman, control your whoever. Just stop them from doing that.
I had to plea bargain to something, and it was terrible. And I didn't do it, and I just lost all faith in the system. I was like, the system is a fucking lie. The cops are evil. And the judge was my friend. I knew him. It's probably the only thing that saved my ass. But the cops don't want to stop drugs. They don't want to stop crimes. They want to trap you into some sort of a financial system where you have to pay $30 a month. And when I walked in through the door to pay the $30 a month or whatever, I looked, and there was like 100 secretaries doing all this bookwork. And I was like, oh my God, if they ever stop the system, all these ladies are going to be without a job.
Good.
And it would be so crazy.
Maybe they'll cook
just
something.
Saw
Maybe they'll cook something and they'll have a better bond with their families. Wouldn't that be something?
Industrial complex on the inside.
Or have a family.
I was going to jail because
not that one, but you should totally. Did anybody listen? Nobody listened. All right. Yeah, that's not the goal, but that's not for this show. But yeah, this is that's still pretty impressive. It was up to 41. I'm not sure why it didn't. Where does that go? It says 41 on one of the things. And yeah, it doesn't matter. Not that one. This was murder. This is murder. I'll watch a little bit of this as I disappear. But I'll be here in spirit. Promise. And then I'll read some chat. Ah! I got sucked into the void.
This is an extreme example of what happens when you allow your kids to eat whatever they want, to not force them to exercise, to not be good parents, to be good role models, and so do better. You made that child, and you are responsible to ensure their healthy well-being. Coach Greg, and in today's video, it's your responsibility to not let your kids get fat. And if something happens to that child, for example, in this case where a 7-year-old boy is no longer with us, you belong in jail. I've been saying this for years. If you let your kids get morbidly obese, you are a child misuser. I want to use a stronger word, but the video would get demonetized. And so many of you are going to say, oh, you're a bad person. It's body positivity. Love your child at any size. Heavens forbid you have to force them to get off their ass from playing video games and go and play some soccer, basketball, go out for a walk, hopscotch, skipping, whatever. And to stop feeding them chips, junk food, candy, and letting them eat whatever they want. You're going to use the excuse that, oh, it's genetics. It's not your fault. Of course it's your fault. You are a bad parent and you don't deserve having a child. If you let your kid become morbidly obese, you're taking years off of their life, and or it could result in this. Michigan parents have been charged with a word that starts with an M and it ends with an Also, child misuse, but it's a stronger word. You know, neglect and so on. As their 7-year-old is no longer with us, and it is a direct result of letting that kid eat whatever he wants. Guys, the kid was 7 years old and weighed 255 pounds. He was 4'2". BMI above 70. If your BMI is over 40, you, my friend, are morbidly obese. Now, I don't care how much you hate the BMI charts. Oh, it's not accurate because if you have a lot of muscle that you're obese, sure, it can be off by a little bit. You could be plus or minus 10 points if you have a shit ton of muscle. But bro was over 70 and he was 7. Anything above 40, it's horrendous. If you're a parent and your kids are crying, screaming, yelling, hitting you, give me my chips, give me my fries, I want my candies. You say no. Your job as a parent is not to be your child's best friend. It's to raise that child. And part of being a parent, it doesn't involve your kids having to like what you're doing. If your child is obese, and many of you, perhaps you are obese right now, or you're a child, you're a parent, you have an overweight child, you are doing something to your child that, in my opinion, is equivalent to letting your 7-year-old, your child, drink alcohol, smoke cigarettes, or use and abuse recreational drugs. Would anyone think that that is okay? And so when a parent lets their kid do any of these things, that parent is neglectful, and that, my friends, is misuse. Just because in society we glorify food, birthday parties, candies, cakes, Halloween. We've allowed gluttony to go mainstream, and we've covered it up with love your body at any size, body positivity. I mean, just this morning, get this, I have been blocked by a woman of all things. I mean, I must be a misogynist. I'm going to read the comment. I'm going to tell you exactly what transpired. Ela Mintrem on Instagram wrote, "This is my body in 2026, of which it's morbidly obese." Not saying it's her fault, but she's showing to the world that she is very, very fat. You know, so fat that it's clearly taking years off of her life. I mean, with this 7-year-old, he's no longer with us. And she posted various photos and said, this was my body 2025, 2024, 23, 22, 21, and 20. Every year since 2020, she gained perhaps 20, 30, 40, I don't know how many pounds. In 2020, she was still a little heavy, but she was not morbidly obese. She was trying. She didn't know how to lose the weight. She had tried and failed. And so she's trying to say the problem isn't her weight. It isn't her body. No matter what she weighs, she still felt insecure. She blamed society. This is a woman's problem. We've made it so that women No matter what size they are, they don't like their cellulite, their curves, all of these things. As if that's only a woman's problem. Have you ever heard of steroids? Performance-enhancing drugs? You really think that only women have pressure to look good? You don't think that countless men have the same pressures? I mean, we have Eric English on steroids before GTA 6. He's 16. You think this kid is natty? And so what do you think that does? All his fans go watch this and think, man, maybe I should use steroids. I'm not big enough. And so I don't care if you're a man or a woman, if you're black or you're white. I treat everybody the same. How dare you to delete my comment and to block me for trying to help? And read my comment. There's a medication called Ozempic as well as TERS. They can help people like you that aren't able to stick to a healthy diet and add years to your life. That's my post. Did I call her fat? Did I say that she's ugly? Did I put the blame on her? I said there is medications out there.
That's a really stupid
that
idea,
you can
though.
Use in order to help. For example, you can
and
go
that's,
to Al.
and that's the problem, Greg. That's the problem, is that you believe in polypharma and you sell it. That's the issue here. Whatever happened to, I don't know, providing the nutrients that will stop the excessive impulse? She's just, I'm not trying to be rude here, but I kind of, it's just an analogy, just like the animals before they go to the auction, they take out the minerals of the food so they continue to eat. They're nice and healthy and leaner until they fatten them up for market. And the only difference is the minerals are in the food, the minerals are removed from the food. And they start gnawing on goddamn everything, trying to get minerals. They'll even eat dirt and rocks and chew on the freaking posts if they're wooden.
Weight loss expert. I'm literally Entrenador Coach Greg. I'm a personal trainer, nutrition expert.
No, you're
masters
not.
in kinesiology.
See, that's what I'm talking about. This is why Fitwit needs to be a thing, because of the missing data here. And it's so much easier when you're not fighting nature, on top of getting your habits and routines under control.
Done 59 competitions, and I've coached thousands of people to lose weight. I was a school teacher for 11 years, and I've written multiple best-selling cookbooks. Have you seen the book? And so if she purchased my book, purchased GLP Max, she would lose weight. Frankly, she would still have to cook recipes from the book, but if she ate from the book, she would automatically lose weight. And if that wasn't enough, she could get Ozempic from her own doctor. She doesn't even need to go to Algorex. And she could go back to the way she looked in 2020 with very little effort. How am I a bad person for trying to help her? Guys, my blood pressure is 120 over 80, but the problem isn't my blood pressure, it's society. Why does it matter about my blood pressure? And I wrote, there's telmisartan, you can go to Algorex. Or if a man said, hey, where are my muscles? I've been training for 10 years. And I wrote, have you checked your testosterone levels? Oh, they're only 150? Maybe you need testosterone, or perhaps you could go to...
Or maybe you need a proper diet with enough cholesterol, and you need to stop listening to your MDs, and you need 90 essential nutrients in your life. And maybe at 46, you'll be seeing results as well, because you're on the things that your body needs already, like always. And then you can do whatever else, and then your efforts will actually produce, you'll respond more to the positive stimuli, the positive stressors that you're putting on your body through exercise.
Algorex and getting clomiphene. How is it bad to try to help people? But hey, in 2026, if you don't just enable people, then you're a bad person. And so if you have a child and you're enabling that person to become morbidly obese, they're going to end up like this woman and or worse. Hey, at least she made it into her 20s. But do you think she's going to make it to 40? Every year she's gaining weight. And she's encouraging people, just love your body. It's society's problem. It's not mine. Have you ever thought of that? And so her 700 plus thousand followers are going to think, you know what? She's right. It isn't a me problem, it's a societal problem. No, the problem is yours. You're the one who's big and fat. You're the one who's going to die. And so if you are a food addict, how is that different from being a drug addict?
Funny you should say that, Greg, because that's what spurred me to ask Dr. Glidden what we talked about on Wednesday. Are those impulses similar? Is the brain trying to make sense of this need for something, this uncomfortable, itchy feeling, and so they go for the food? And sometimes the sexual impulse can be replaced with food because it's a lot easier to eat food than it is to get sex every time you want it, most of the time. So then the food becomes the replacement, and then the food becomes the only thing, and then you get fat. That happens to people too. But the other thing is, when you continue to eat, and it's not just mental, but it's also physiological, your body itself is, and your vital force is screaming for something that it needs because it's trying to carry on the processes in your body. So it's telling you, go find it, and it's not telling you what to find. It's not like a T800 screen in your head, like we were saying, or it gives you a readout. So you have to figure it out. And sometimes it's just drink a shit ton of water. Oh yeah, that's what I needed. I was dehydrated. And sometimes it's, hey, I needed that and all the nutrients because, hey, guess what? We go through them constantly. So we need to continue to replenish them. Did you ever notice that you don't have as many cravings just when you're taking a shitty multivitamin that isn't nearly as absorbable because you're getting a little bit, at least a little something? There might be something to do that, right? So if you get a really good absorbable one and you have all of the stuff that you need, gee, I wonder how that would affect it.
Alcoholic. You need help to get over this problem.
Trade them. For PTSD, for all kinds of things. It's useful. You don't need to take their medications and their psychiatric meds. Just take some Kratom.
Years ago,
and then don't take too much of it.
There was no help. A weight loss diet, you could go to what?
Not because you can OD on it. That's not a thing. But you'll just get sick if you try to take too much. But I just mean prolonged period of time. Then you're like, again, you created a different issue for yourself.
Yeah, you could hire Coach Greg. You could get my cookbook, but it wasn't easy. Now, literally, the GLPs take all those.
He's an idiot. Yeah. Yes, the Gila monster saliva synthesized into a drug that you inject yourself with, because that sounds like it makes sense. That definitely doesn't sound like cultish at all. No. That doesn't sound like 5,000-year-old serpent cult shit. Not even a little.
Problems away. The food noise, constant hunger, cravings, gone. You can now eat exactly the way you want. And
yeah, you want to know why? Because you just paralyze your stomach, your vagus nerve, you have gastroparesis, and you're on your way to having your retina detached and have, what was the other thing? Oh yeah, type 1 diabetes.
You lose weight. If you're not eating any surplus and you're eating in a deficit, you're
muscle wasting.
Lose weight.
Because when you're not processing the food that's inside your stomach, you're not getting any nutrients whatsoever. And you're in starvation mode. And guess what? Where do you think the nutrients are going to be mostly found in your body? In the soft, fatty, gooey shit, or in your muscles? It's going to eat everything, trying to replace and take in the minerals and nutrients that it needs to continue to function. GLPs are bad. Don't do it. Don't be an idiot.
So when these parents allowed their 7-year-old to get to this point, it's on them. This child is no longer with us because of dilated cardiomyopathy. The chambers of the heart, they became too enlarged, could no longer...
Remember Dr. Glidden said that even these types of things were fixed with homeopathy and proper nutrients?
Pump out blood efficiently. What do you think caused that? This is not some genetic condition that would have happened no matter what. This is a direct result of overfeeding. The boys' parents, Damien and Jessica O'Brien, were charged on June 23rd with second-degree starts with an M, ends with der, and 3 counts of second-degree child misuse. And if convicted, they could face
Isn't YouTube gay?
life in prison. And so I'm thinking, finally, they're doing exactly what they should be doing, and that is preventing this from happening in the future. If you have a child, it is your responsibility to ensure that they do not get to this.
Right. Get the 90% of nutrients. Teach them really how to take the shit that they need, and explain to them that, yeah, nature and God and whoever did make life easy, but Vase, the demon, did not. So now we have to go find what they took away from us so that we can have proper nutrients in our body at all times.
You know how hurtful it was when I was a school teacher and I would see kids like this come to school every single day. And I'm watching these kids, 7, 8 years old, weighing close to 200 pounds. And I hanging around with them at recess time. Hey, what are you eating for recess? Bag of chips, the large size bag of chips. And I'm thinking, shouldn't you be eating an apple? Do you really need to eat chips? No, I'm eating chips for recess, chips at lunch. Do you know how hurtful that is as a teacher? And what am I to do? I went to the grocery store and I saw this kid with their parents, grocery cart full of junk. Kid has no shot. No chance. When you're 7 or 8 years of age, you don't decide what you put into your body. Your parents buy everything for you. And I don't care how much that kid whines, cries. Your responsibility is to make sure
Right.
that...
Who created the habit in the first place? The parents with the shittier habits that have been ingrained in them, or what they thought would be treats because they liked them when they were kids. Maybe they don't even eat it anymore. That's even worse. Because they think they're doing something, they're overcompensating for the guilt that they have for having to be at work and not spending enough time. Whatever the fucking case may be. That's assuming they have souls. That's assuming that they have souls and think that way. But it's also lazy. It's also lazy to, I'm so overwhelmed because don't know how to manage my time very, very well. So therefore, I'm gonna go get fast food instead of cook. This is how the breakdown of family has affected people. Family's supposed to sit down together and eat, and they're supposed to be cooked by the family, the father, the mother. It doesn't really matter, but the knowledge and the spirit and the good will that is transferred into the food by the act of knowing that you're doing it for the people that you love does actually do something. There is an energy there, and everybody's sitting together. There is a bond there. If you never had that, if you never sat around together and ate together, you don't have that bond, and it really will fuck things up as they progress in age.
They eat properly and they get enough exercise. Those kids who are morbidly obese in school, do you think they're treated the same? Do you think they have the same amount of friends? Of course they don't. And in physical education class, when I watch them, they're struggling to jog. They want to play, but they can't. And so the vicious cycle, it continues. They want to exercise, but they're too fat to exercise, and so they get even more fat. And then they're eating chips at recess and at lunch. And the cycle continues. And so if you allow this, it's on you. You teach and instill those values. And so when you eat shit as a parent and you're a fat piece of shit yourself, and you show that to your kids, they're going to grow up to be just like you. You are their heroes. When you're a child, your parents are their idols. Next to being their parents, the school teacher is the next person they look up to. And so when I was a teacher, I had healthy food, walked through the recess. Look at me, I'm eating an apple, carrots, it's delicious. To try to motivate them to stop eating what the shit their parents gave them. If they see you doing all the wrong things, not exercising, eating shit, what do you think they're going to grow up to be? They're going to grow up and be big fat pieces of shit and delete Coach Greg's comments when I comment on Instagram. Did you know what the principal did at the school I was at? At the end of the day, if the kids didn't do anything wrong, like so if I had to talk to a kid or whatever, if they were being bad, talking, acting up, they didn't get whatever sticker at the end of the class. And so
no star for you.
That was good all day long, they got a reward. Do you know what that reward was? Candy. And what do you think I said?
You said give them GLP-1s instead. I'm just kidding.
As a physical education teacher to the principal, can we not reward our kids with junk? What do you think this is? It motivates them. Oh, let's be good all day so they can get their Glossette raisins or peanuts and shit and candies and goo-goo beers and gum and so on. No, I disagree with you. This is nothing. It's harmless. It's harmless, is it? We have an obesity epidemic and it's harmless. And so, of course, they point out that you're innocent until proven guilty. I mean, it's not as if they've been sentenced yet. They go to court and they're going to yap and say, you know, it's not our fault. The kid did this. It's that. They're probably going to say it's genetic. There's nothing we could have done about it. You know, it's not my fault. Casper was 4 foot 2 inches tall and had a BMI of 71.7.
Good God.
A typical BMI for a boy his age is about 16. So if we multiplied that by 4, it would be about that. And so the kid was 4 times as big as normal. What do you think that does to the heart? And let's argue that it was genetic. The kid just had way too much signal to eat.
But why does he have signal, though? This is why you know it's the nutrients and the minerals. The ghrelin is a signal that your body sends out for a particular purpose and reason. Because you can be starving and be completely filled with food, because what you're starving for is the shit that makes your body run. It's not just calories, it's the nutrients. It's the minerals. It's the things that your body uses to actually do all of the processes that you don't have to think about. So if you say, oh, it's genetic because their ghrelin is too high and they don't know how to, that's just impossible for anybody to be able to overcome, because the ghrelin signal is just so strong. Why is it so strong? Because it is a signal that your vital force is sending out, but why is it doing it? Because all the choices that you're making for that, and you know what? Here's another thing. If you're not getting it and your signal is that strong, chances are when you developed in your mother's womb, she was very depleted as well, which made you even more sensitive and depleted, because even during the developmental phase, you didn't have what you needed to develop properly. So now you're even worse off, and the signals are going to be even stronger because it's been screaming for a long time. We need this. We need this in our lives. It's not genetic, it's developmental. It's not genetic, it's the nutrients.
You'll go exercise.
Or it's not genetic, it's a fucking parasite. Other thing to consider. Even when it comes to addictions like drugs, there's parasites that make people more prone to wanting to do drugs. I don't know if you knew that, but that's the thing. It's the self-destructive demon parasite. It's called the Jew. And its little parasite friends.
You can still bring your child to a doctor, to a therapist, to a counselor. You can hire somebody to help them to try to lose weight. There are other options. And so they suspect that the boy had autism and said he was nonverbal. And so this
that's because he was continuously shoving shit into his mouth. He had no time to talk.
Wasn't even put into school, and so they never had.
That's why it got to this point, because they were discussing human beings. Wait till you hear the rest of the details. This poor fucking. I mean, this is one of those times where, yeah, maybe eugenics is the thing, but the innocent life that came in and had to live like that, it wasn't his fault. Got really bad hand of cards there, and it was kept like a dirty secret that the child was even in existence.
A teacher like me to see what was going on. They weren't able to report these things to the authorities, because when you're a teacher and kids tell you certain things, so for example, I've heard certain things in my teaching career, I've had to tell the principal, make some calls, and those students are removed from their home.
That's fucked, what he just said there. I mean, there better be better details than that for me to think that was okay, because putting it into the hands of law enforcement, CPS, and the foster care facility, whatever you want to call that, system, they're going to be possibly raped to death or given to two gay guys. Not good. Or both.
Important to not let the kids stay in that kind of environment. And so when somebody is this fat, it's certainly not okay, and you need to do something about it. If you are letting your kids eat to this extent, and frankly, even half, you don't have to weigh 250 pounds at age 7 to know that you're doing something wrong. If your kid is 150 pounds at age 7, you are doing something wrong, and you need to do something about it. The family appeared to be living in extreme hoarding conditions with wall-to-wall trash and insects throughout the 3-bedroom home, according to police officers' accounts. It's really sad. Casper
They were
didn't like
fat and disgusting individuals, and they should go to jail.
water, which made bathing him difficult.
Casper didn't like water, so he was dirty too. He was dirty. He was living in filth, and he was overweight. These people have no self-respect, dignity, sense of give a shit. They're just apathetic, disgusting animals living like rats in a rat nest.
His mother told authorities. Instead, she said she would use baby wipes 2 to 3 times a week to help him wash
2 to 3
up.
times a
The
week?
mother told the investigators that his daily diet, his full day of eating, consisted of a large bag of potato chips, that really hit home. French fries, carbonated water, and apple juice. Such a great diet in protein. It's so satiating. I'm sure that kid was full all the time. If you give your kids fruits and vegetables, lots of fiber and protein, do you really think they're going to eat to this extent? In comparison, apple juice, which is essentially just sugar, potato chips, highly palatable, high in fat and calories, and fries. This is an extreme example of what happens when you allow your kids to eat whatever they want, to not force them to exercise, to not be good parents, to be good role models, and so do better. You made that child, and you are responsible to ensure their healthy well-being. Show them different sports, play with them, exercise with them. Eat healthy yourself. Be the role model that they need. In the process, not only will you be helping your kids, you'll be helping yourself. Everyone is going to win. Subscribe, click the bell button.
So it's a large poplar. Gotcha. Some older fogey may as well put up a protest against this eminent domain for AI thing. Said words hurt. Let me just do a refresh. Okay. Oh, what the hell? They all disappeared. Well, that wasn't the point. I wasn't trying to do that. R.I.P. Trevor Morris at Irvat. Yeah. Let me see if maybe they're still over here. Jesus Christ. Karen says, "Oh my gosh, it almost makes me emotional. What a bitch." Yeah, right. The lady from Georgia Power. The corporate lady has become the real victim for the audience, so we don't have to be victims. It's a Southern Belle thing. I blame the employees for not stepping up and saying no in all these situations. People do anything for a paycheck, regardless of who it harms. Sickening, says Karen. N-word says, yep. Karen says, the psychopaths can only do what they do because people take the jobs from them. And Irva says, end Skynet. Yeah. Be a good little pleb. Take your soma and get into your bed. He says no. Yeah, that was funny, Karen. I detect authoritarian oppositional behavior. Edward Sonoma says, but it's like we're supposed to keep looking busy and keeping up with the Joneses and keeping up with the brides of Moloch and sending donations across the globe and out into the ether. Then it looks like there's something that's missing there. This guy is funny as fuck. Are you talking? Yeah, where is it? The Juker guy, the agent. Garlic makes them more vulnerable to the sun. That sounds like it's actually a true thing. J-Mo. There you go. Satan's little helpers. So the Tanakh, Tanakh, is not a testament, and it's newer than the New Testament. It's kind of, sort of. No, the Tanakh is still through like 300 BC, but it's just not 1600 or whatever they said it was BC when they started making up these Moses dudes and these Abraham guys. It didn't become Judaism or Jews until after. But yeah, they had their little scrapbook of bullshit because they were so enamored by and then jealous and envious of the Greeks who taught them how to be Greek, basically. We should be charging the grievance industry for victim work, not paying them. These are some real pranksters, says Enrich Snowman. Irvat says, hey, pressing the button 15 times is far better than summoning Jewish what would you say JMO was again? Homosexual. JMO demon on the 33rd press. Ban kissing. Enrich Snowman says ban kissing. And they didn't revolt? Well, they were all dying. because rats, I mean Jews, were poisoning them. Yeah. It was the Black Plague. Ervat. R.I.P. Trevor Moore. Edward Snowman says something that worries me about the current deluge of psychology degrees is that they probably enable more behavior modifiers and psychological manipulators. Yeah. And they all have something to say about you, and they'll say whatever they are told to say, just like those people who take a paycheck for anything. They're also the same people who sit in a courtroom and be the expert witness and say whatever the hell they are supposed to say so they can do whatever they have already planned to do to you, right? Nervat said, I heard the noise. Is this North Pole's Mystery says, is this a channel where white men can speak without being censored? No! Hey, Dan, have you stopped beating... Thank you. Stop beating my wife. Nope, I never started. Sorry. I think we're gonna bounce this asshole too. We're gonna bounce this asshole too. Where is it? How come it doesn't say mute forever? Did it already happen? There you go. We don't need no stinking badges and assholes. All right, let's go to. I think we're going to bed. That's where we're going. I gotta go on the elliptical or something. What time is that? 12:18. Fuck! I did it again. All right, yeah, we'll do the rest of it now. Thank you. Have a good night. And for all these little, speaking of pranksters and hermos out here, it's like seriously, I'm gonna. They're on the screen. I don't give a fuck because you guys are pieces of shit and worthless. Have you honestly think that you come across like a normal human being when you talk like that? Like you're gonna be garnering favor with normal people, which do, believe it or not, make up the majority of people that actually matter. They make up all of the people that actually matter. If this is your effort to try to matter, you're doing it in the wrongest way possible. And there's YouTube for the Wisdom Fitness AZ. There's the website. There's the coupon code for 15% off. And and there's some asshole who keeps on telling me that they like to help small businesses send me product to do a review on. And I'm like, if you gave a shit about a small business, you'd pay the fucking money to buy the fucking hot sauce and do your review. You're just a fucking liar. I'm not doing that. I don't give... First of all, why do I care about your opinion? Like, I'll show it to my 900 followers. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Being fucking stupid. Dr. Glidden's link is right there. And then 90 Essential Nutrients, Azure Standard link right there. Whole Food Multivitamin, Alaskan Cod Liver Oil, Fulvic-Humic Blend. Make sure you get that one. IP6 Supreme. I also recommend the Core Copper. Code BB5. Make sure you use that at checkout. All right.